as seen from the eyes of the Goodyear Blimp America. This is Chicago, Illinois, more specifically the north side of Chicago. And somewhere through the clouds and the haze, and yes, the rainfall, is Wrigley Field, the home of the Chicago Cubs, and the site of the 61st Major League All-Star Game scheduled for tonight. The weather forecast today was for intermittent showers early this evening, and unfortunately, those prognostications have proven true. 38,710 is capacity here, and the faithful are still waiting and hoping that this game will eventually take place. The ivy-covered walls well watered by now. The rain began approximately 30 minutes ago and has been on and off. At one point, the tarp started to come off the field and then was replaced. Among the crowd, a fair share of celebrities, including comedian Bill Murray, himself a Chicagoan, and he too is hoping that the rain will disappear, the tarp will come off, and the players will take the field. Good evening, everyone. I'm Greg Gumbel. Welcome to Wrigley Field and to Chicago, Illinois, as CBS Sports hopes to bring you coverage, live coverage of the 6th Major League All-Star Baseball Game. The players are all here. They're all ready. I am, as well as my colleagues, Jack Buck, Tim McCarver, Pat O'Brien, and Jim Cott. All we need now is for the weatherman to cooperate. As I mentioned, the weather forecast was for intermittent showers early this evening. It was cloudy most of the day. However, it started to rain about 6:30 Central Time here in Chicago, and it has started and stopped and started and stopped, and now it has started again. The folks at Major League Baseball believe that it will clear up and that we will have baseball shortly, and we are standing by. When it happens, we'll bring you the 61st Major League All-Star Game. Welcome back to Wrigley Field, where the rain has let up slightly, but there is still a drizzle falling and the tarp remains. This is the radar, and where the thumb is marks Wrigley Field. You can tell from the radar on the Goodyear Blimp that yes, Wrigley Field is surrounded by a few rain showers, rain clouds, and they're still serving hot dogs at Wrigley Field, and we're still awaiting the start of the 61st Major League All-Star Game. Welcome back, everyone. There have been a couple of other games that have been affected by rainstorm prior to this. One went 5 innings before it was called. Another was called after 9 innings, tied at 1. Folks, as I said, here at Major League Baseball are still hopeful of getting this one in, and in fact, the rain has let up just a little bit. While we're waiting for the removal of the tarp from the field, let's go down to the third base dugout, where my colleague Jim Cott is standing by with the leading vote getter in the American League. Jim?
All right, Greg, thanks very much. While we're waiting for the rain to stop, it looks like it might. The leading vote getter, the highest paid player. What's all of this mean to you?
Well, first of all, the leading vote getter, is very exciting to have the fans vote for you. Even though I've been injured part of the year, last year I had some injuries during the whole first half, and I was still unanimously voted to the All-Star Game. So that just shows great fan support, not just the Oakland fans, but the fans around the world.
You know, we hear about the contract and the money, but sometimes, we all have a little man inside talking to us, right? And I believe you got to be walking around saying, all the work I put into this game, I'm still a young man, but that's got to be a satisfying feeling besides just what you can buy with that money.
Well, I just turned 26 about 4 or 5 days ago, and all the hard work I have put in the minor leagues, at the major league level, really wanting to succeed, wanting to become a better player each year, day in, day out. And, I've heard rumors. Some people say, well, Jose Canseco's got a 5-year contract for so much money. I think he's just going to relax now and just enjoy his money. But in my case, I think I'm going to be a much better player in 91 and 92 these years to come. So my theory is just keep working hard. I got to try to improve in some areas. And I think the baseball fans are going to see a better Jose Canseco in the years to come.
Wow, that's bad news for pitchers. Let's talk about tonight. I mean, coming here to an all-star game, a lot of guys take maybe a cynical attitude and say, I'd rather have the time off. It's got to be special.
It's very fun. It's very special. The camaraderie here is great. You get to talk to all the other superstars, some players which which I really haven't seen in the National League. So we talk, we have time, and I don't think anyone here is going to be worried whether they hit a home run or whether they strike out. Everyone's here is just here to have a great time, to have fun, and hopefully we can thrill the fans with some long home runs.
You know, that's what I think an all-star game, unlike the playoffs, the World Series, the regular season, you can enjoy this. You don't have to worry so much about winning.
Definitely. I think today people say, well, don't try to hit a home run. To me, today is going to be all or nothing. I'm going to go out there. I'm definitely going to try to hit a home run every at bat. And who knows, I might get a hold of one, hit it 500 feet, and get a great cheer from the fans.
Got some longer spikes on, dig in a little deeper?
No, regular spikes. Hopefully it doesn't rain too much to where it's going to be bad playing conditions out in the outfield.
Jose, thanks a lot. Congratulations on the contract, the all-star vote. Greg, back to you.
All right, Jim, and Jose Canseco still hopeful of catching Cecil Fielder, the major league leader in home runs. Canseco with 22, Fielder with 28. Folks are still arriving here at Wrigley Field, and the ground crew taking a long look at the sky. We'll take a timeout and come back to Wrigley Field in Chicago, Illinois in just a moment. Well, it's a little more than cloud cover. The clouds have rain with it, and the result is the tarp on the field as we will wait out this rain shower, and eventually the start of the 61st Major League Baseball game will take place here in Wrigley Field. Welcome back to Chicago, everyone. I'm Greg Gumbel right now. Now next to one of the dugouts, Tim McCarver has a very special guest. Tim?
All right, Greg, thank you very much. You're waiting underneath. I'm waiting outside along with the Commissioner of Baseball, Fay Vincent. Commissioner, what's the situation as far as the rain is concerned this evening?
Well, the optimists say that it's going to stop and that we're going to get the game in. I certainly hope they're correct.
And if the game is not played tonight, it'll be played tomorrow night.
It'll be played tomorrow in prime time. I hope that doesn't have to be done.
A conflict because there are some American League games because of the lockout scheduled tomorrow evening.
That's right. I think there are 4 games tomorrow that would have to be moved.
You had adversity last year, of course, with the earthquake, tragically, in San Francisco. And now the All-Star game, it rains.
I said you have to have Irish luck for this. I hope our luck turns, Timmy.
Well, what about the topics in baseball? Were you a bit surprised at Whitey Herzog's resignation last week?
I was, Tim. I, of course, have great affection for him and high regard, and I did not see that coming. I hope he'll be back on the field someday.
Are there any comments on the George Steinbrenner decision scheduled for next Tuesday?
Well, what we're doing is talking to his lawyers about the next steps and what the procedure should be. I hope to be able to deal with it and make a decision over the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Any comments about the Pete Rose decision a week from Friday?
No, I think that's between Pete and the federal court. That's not my business. I'm going to Cincinnati Thursday. I'm looking forward to seeing your Mets and the Reds down there, and I think that'll be fun.
Well, we are here with Commissioner Fay Vincent. Now let's go back to Greg Gumbel in center field.
All right, Tim and Commissioner, thank you very much. There's a look at the National League dugout. Darryl Strawberry of the Mets, Ozzie Smith right behind him, and they are being entertained in part in the dugout by Mr. Cub, Ernie Banks. We'll take a time out here, and when we come back, we'll go to Pat O'Brien, who will give us an idea of how the rain is affecting the rooftop parties surrounding Wrigley Field. We'll come back to Chicago in just a moment. The fans are responding to the announcement that tonight's game is scheduled to begin on time, and you are looking at Jack Armstrong, the ace of the Cincinnati staff and the scheduled starter for the National League tonight as he begins his warm-up tosses down the left field line. We'll have the introduction of the players shortly, but first, let's take you across the street on the other side of the ballpark where Pat O'Brien is standing by on high. Pat?
All right, Greg, thank you very much. You know, this is part of the confines of the Wrigley Field neighborhood, being on the rooftop. And the reason you don't see many people leaving these rooftops is that once you get up here, even in the rain, you don't want to give this seat up. As you can see from where we are, we're at 1010 Waveland. It is a spectacular view of the ballpark. In fact, it's a tremendous seat to be at. One of the things about these apartments is that they charge about $200 or $300 extra for you to live in them. And we went inside one of them. Many of them are shrines to, if not the Chicago Cubs, to baseball itself. In fact, they celebrate memories that didn't even happen. Those are tickets to the 1984 World Series. Steve Garvey ruined that one. I want to show you what happens down on Waveland. This is one of my favorite parts of this ballpark. Down there is where the kids from 1 to 92 wait for balls to come over the left field fence. I want to show you how it's done in one of our favorite moves. It was the day the mailman caught the baseball, or he didn't catch it on the first hop anyway. He had the 5 foot. Here's how it's done. The mailman in blue, in shorts. He grabs the ball. He comes running out of the crowd. The U.S. government wasn't real thrilled with this, but he got to keep the ball. Now, if you get an enemy ball out here, neighborhood rules, you got to throw it back. Here's how the experts say it should be done.
The best thing to do is just, when you see everybody run into a pile, to run up and stay low, because a lot of balls will go off gloves, and the closer to the ground you are, the better chance you probably got of picking one off the ground today.
They didn't always catch baseballs over there. The Chicago Bears used to play at Wrigley, and every now and then a football or two would go over, and I don't think they ever threw those back, did they, Joe Girardi?
No, I'm sure they kept those.
Joe Girardi, the catcher of the Chicago Cubs. You don't watch many games from up here, I know.
Well, if I was up here, I'd probably be retired or released, so I don't want to watch any games up here until about 10 years from now.
You're definitely familiar with Chicago weather. Talk about this rain. They got to play this game tonight, right?
I think they'll play this game. It's windy. I think the weather will blow out of here, and it'll be a nice night.
Joe, thanks for joining us. Good luck second part of the season. As we said, there's a tremendous view here. You can see the city through the clouds. There's the old scoreboard. We're going to go up there later on this evening. And for last year when the Cubs made the playoffs, they added that outhouse back there. But my favorite thing about this is that your kitchen's only 40 or 50 feet away, and at 600 or so feet from home plate, Greg Gumbel, one thing they never bring up here is a baseball glove. No balls are coming here. Back to you.
All right, Pat, thank you. And again, we are getting ready for the start of this baseball game. That will do it for this abbreviated pregame show. The players will be introduced shortly, and you will meet them as CBS Sports continues its coverage of the 61st Major League Baseball game.
About this game.
Think I'm crazy?
Yeah, I do.
Can't you see it, Frank? The best in the American against the best in the National. It'll be great.
But Arch, the game don't count for nothing.
Will to the fans.
Good night, Mr. Ward.
Night, Andy. We'll see.
Bill Hallahan of Maryland Papers. Here at your lead offer. There's the ball inside. Say, do you think Arch Ward ever dreamed it would turn out like this? Here's the two-strike pitch. There it goes. Back up.
You gotta get a home run.
Bambino for first. All-star game home run. Oh, my.
Someday you'll play this game, son. Someday we'll all play this game together.
Boys and girls, this boy Hubble is a pitcher. Here it is. Strike three. Strike three. He's out. There's a high drive going deep. Deep. It is a home run.
Come on, Ernie, we need a big stick, Ernie, come on. Come on, Ernie, your hip brings until you can do it, come on.
Afternoon, Frank.
Hey, Mr. Ward.
Looks like you're a genius. Save it, Frank. Give it to me in 50 years if we're still around.
Hey, who's gonna win that game tomorrow?
Remember? It don't count for nothing.
Yeah, sure.
Moses coming to the plate, throws the throw. It's all over. The National League wins. Long drive, deep right field. It's 3-2. Nobody even turns to look.
Ball hit deep, way back. Davis looks up, it's out of here.
Grandpa, do you remember coming here? Was this fun?
I always had fun at Wrigley Field.
It's a fly ball deep to left. Back. Hey! He did it!
Look, Grandpa.
Great catch tomorrow. You know, I never thought I'd say this. It's a beautiful night for baseball. Let's play, too.
Welcome back to Chicago, Illinois, everyone. The bright lights point the way to Wrigley Field on the near north side of Chicago, the site tonight of the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. And what's a little rain when there's an All-Star Game to be played? As you can see, the tarp is being removed and the players are standing by. The fans have made their way in from all parts of the city and in some cases from all around the country. One of the two hand-operated scoreboards in Major League Baseball in this, the oldest park in the National League, formerly Weigman Field and now Wrigley Field. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Greg Gumbel. The American League trails in this series 37-22 with one tie. Time to introduce the participants. Let's join Wayne Messmer, the public address announcer.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wrigley Field and the 1990 All-Star Game. At this time, let's meet the 1990 American League All-Star Team. First, the trainers from the Kansas City Royals, Mickey Cobb, and from the Minnesota Twins, Dick Martin. Next, the batting practice coaches from the Chicago White Sox, number 10, Jeff Torborg. From the Oakland Athletics, number 8, Dave McKay. And in the bullpen, number 18, Dave Duncan. Now the coaches. Number 20, Frank Robinson of the Baltimore Orioles. And Jim Lefevre, number 5, from the Seattle Mariners. Now the American League non-starters. From the Baltimore Orioles, number 30, Greg Olson. From the Boston Red Sox, number 12, Ellis Burks. And number 21, Roger Clemens. From the California Angels, number 13, Lance Parrish. And number 31, Chuck Finley. Next, from the Chicago White Sox, number 13, Ozzie Guillen. Number 37, Bobby Thigpen. Next, from the Cleveland Indians, number 11, Doug Jones. And number 26, Brooke Jacoby. From the Detroit Tigers, number 3, Alan Trammell. And number 45, Cecil Fielder. From the Kansas City Royals, number 18, Brett Saberhagen. From the Milwaukee Brewers, number 39, Dave Parker. From the Minnesota Twins, number 34, Kirby Puckett. From the Oakland Athletics, number 43, Dennis Eckersley. From the Seattle Mariners, number 51, Randy Johnson. From the Texas Rangers, number 14, Julio Franco. From the Toronto Blue Jays, number 11, George Bell. Number 17, Kelly Gruber. And number 37, Dave Steve. And now, managing his second All-Star game, from the defending world champion Oakland Athletics, number 10, Tony La Russa. And now, the American League starters, as voted by you, the fans, in the USA Today Major League Baseball All-Star Fan Balloting. Leading off and playing left field, the American League's all-time stolen base leader and 9-time All-Star from the Oakland Athletics, Ricky Henderson. Batting second and playing third base, a 5-time American League batting champion from the Boston Red Sox, Wade Barnes. Batting third and playing right field, this year's American League top vote getter, baseball's first 40-40 player from the Oakland Athletics, Jose Canseco. Batting fourth and playing shortstop, making his 7th consecutive start at shortstop from the Baltimore Orioles, Cal Ripken. Batting fifth and playing center field, making his first All-Star appearance from the Seattle Mariners, Ken Griffey Jr. Batting sixth and playing first base, the 1987 American League Rookie of the Year from the Oakland Athletics, Mark McGwire. Batting seventh and catching, the first rookie catcher ever selected by fans to start an All-Star game from the Cleveland Indians, Sandy Alomar Jr. Batting eighth and playing second base, making his first American League All-Star start from the New York Yankees, Steve Sax. And batting ninth and pitching, the American League leader with 13 victories this year from the Oakland Athletics, Bob Welch. Ladies and gentlemen, your 1990 All-Stars of the American League.
Bob Welch at 13-3 on the year has the American League's best won-loss percentage at the All-Star break. This is his second trip to an All-Star game, his first as an American leaguer. He was a member of the National League team as an LA Dodger back in 1980, 10 years ago. Right now, back to Wayne Messmer for the National Leaguers.
Now, let's meet the 1990 National League All-Star team. First, the trainers from the Chicago Cubs, John Fierro. And from the Pittsburgh Pirates, Kent Biggerstaff. The batting practice coaches from the San Francisco Giants, number 5, Bob Lillis. In the bullpen, number 34, Norm Sherring. And number 42, Bill Fahey. And now the coaches from the Chicago Cubs, number 4, Don Zimmer. From the Pittsburgh Pirates, number 10, Jim Leland. And from the San Diego Padres, number 2, Sandy Alomar Sr. Now the National League non-starters. From the Atlanta Braves, number 10, Greg Olson. From the Chicago Cubs, number 12, Sean Dunston. From the Cincinnati Reds, number 11, Barry Larkin. Also from the Reds, number 28, Randy Myers. And number 49, Rob Dibble. From the Houston Astros, number 45, Dave Smith. From the Los Angeles Dodgers, number 48, Ramon Martinez. From the Montreal Expos, number 29, Tim Wallach. And number 32, Dennis Martinez. From the New York Mets, number 18, Darryl Strawberry. Number 29, Frank Viola. And number 31, John Franco. Next from the Pittsburgh Pirates, number 24, Barry Bonds. Number 25, Bobby Bonilla. And number 26, Neil Heaton. Introducing from the San Diego Padres, voted as a starting catcher, unable to play because of injury tonight, number 9, Benito Santiago. Also from the Padres, number 12, Roberto Alomar. And number 19, Tony Gwynn. From the San Francisco Giants, number 9, Matt Williams. And number 49, Jeff Brantley. Now, let's meet the manager of the National League All-Stars. From the defending National League champion San Francisco Giants, number 38, Roger Craig. And now, the National League starters as voted by you, the fans in the USA Today Major League Baseball All-Star Fan Balloting. Leading off and playing center field, the National League batting leader from the Philadelphia Phillies, Len Dykstra. Batting second and playing second base, making his 5th consecutive All-Star start, the National League top vote getter from the Chicago Cubs, Ryne Sandberg. Last year's National League top vote getter from the San Francisco Giants, Will Clark. Batting 4th and playing left field, the 1989 National League Most Valuable Player from the San Francisco Giants, Kevin Mitchell. Batting 5th and playing right field, the 1987 National League Most Valuable Player, making his 7th All-Star Game appearance from the Chicago Cubs, Andre Dawson. Batting 6th and playing 3rd base, making his first All-Star Game start from the Cincinnati Reds, Chris Sabo. Batting 7th and catching, making his 2nd consecutive All-Star appearance from the Los Angeles Dodgers, Mike Scioscia. Batting 8th and playing shortstop, making his 8th consecutive All-Star start. A recipient of 10 straight Gold Glove Awards from the St. Louis Cardinals, Ozzie Smith. Batting 9th and pitching, appearing in his first All-Star game from the Cincinnati Reds, Jack Armstrong. Ladies and gentlemen, your 1990 National League All-Star.
Jack Armstrong has gone to the National League clubhouse for his final preparations, the native of Englewood, New Jersey. Cincinnati's #1 draft choice 3 years ago. He is 11-3, and in this, his first full season in the major leagues, he is the National League starting pitcher in the All-Star game.
At this time, let's meet the honorary captains for tonight's All-Star game. First, for the American League. Although he spent 19 seasons as one of the game's premier catchers, he may best be remembered by Chicagoans as one of the South Side's most successful managers. In his 13 straight seasons at the helm, he guided the White Sox to 852 victories. In 1959, he took the Go-Go Sox to their first World Series in 40 years. Introducing the American League honorary captain and 1977 inductee to baseball's Hall of Fame, Al Lopez. And for the National League, he won at least 20 games on 6 occasions. Twice led the league in victories, complete games, and shutouts. A 10-time All-Star. This high-kicking right-hander was named Most Valuable Player of the 1965 game. He finished his 16-year career with 243 victories and a 2.89 ERA. Introducing the National League honorary captain, a 1983 inductee to the Baseball Hall of Fame, Juan Marichal. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise for the presentation of the colors tonight of the United States Coast Guard, celebrating their 200th year of service to our country. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please join, along with organist Gary Pressey and yours truly, Chicago Cubs public address announcer Wayne Mesmer, in a singing of the Canadian National Anthem. To honor America, please join international recording artist and Chicago native Richard Marx as he sings our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
The Stars have come out in Chicago. We'll be back with a special introduction live from Chicago after this word from your local station.
CBS Sports coverage of the 61st All-Star Game is sponsored by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. The Century 21 system. Put your trust in #1. And by the companies of the Prudential. Come to the Prudential and build your future.
Welcome back to Wrigley Field in Chicago, everyone. The forecast is for intermittent showers, but the forecast is also for baseball as we present the 61st Major League All-Star Game. And I believe you're about to learn what noise and fan appreciation is all about as we return you to public address announcer Wayne Messmer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention to the playing field. To throw out tonight's ceremonial first pitch is one of the greatest players in baseball history. He played with the Cubs for 19 years, hit 512 home runs, and played in 13 All-Star games. And he'll be remembered forever at Wrigley Field as his retired number 14 flies atop the left field foul pole. To throw out tonight's ceremonial first pitch, accompanied by his granddaughter tomorrow, here's Mr. Cub, Hall of Famer Ernie Banks. Mr. Cub, Ernie Banks, and his granddaughter, Tamara Holmes, setting the stage for a brilliant night of stars in Chicago. I'm Greg Gumbel. Jack Buck and Tim McCarver are set to call the play-by-play. We'll return to Wrigley Field for the first pitch of the All-Star Game right after this.
CBS Sports coverage of the 61st All-Star Game.
And now we are only moments away from the first pitch of the All-Star Game. The rain has ceased. The playing conditions will be wonderful. The fans have all settled in, and we're happy that you're with us. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a privilege to be with you. You know, in sports, we put particular words together to tell us that something big is about to happen. Gentlemen, start your engines. The horses are at the starting gate, but tonight, for us, two simple words. Play ball, Tim McCarver.
Well, 10 years from now, I don't think anybody's going to remember the score of tonight's ball game. But every player, whether participating or not, will have memory after memory of every thing that happens here this evening. Baseball's a team sport, but it's the remarkable individual skills on display here tonight as we start the 61st All-Star Game, and I can't wait.
As you see, the National League team has taken the field, and we're looking at Jack Armstrong. Quite a privilege for him. First pitcher to start an All-Star game in his first full season in the Major Leagues since Fernando did it back in 1981. Here's the very formidable lineup he'll be facing with the wind blowing out toward right. Ricky Henderson in left, Wade Boggs at third base, Jose Canseco in right field, Cal Ripken batting fourth. Ken Griffey Jr. in center field, and Mark McGuire at first. It's Sandy Alomar Jr. behind the plate, Steve Sachs at second base, and it will be Bob Welch, like Armstrong, a right-hander, on the mound.
Defensively, supporting Jack Armstrong will be Kevin Mitchell, nursing at right hamstring in left field. Lenny Dykstra, after 5 years with the Philadelphia Phillies, finally makes the All-Star team as a starter, or 5 years with the Mets, he's finally made it as a starter with the Phillies. Andre Dawson in right field. What an applause he got before the game. Chris Sabo, Rookie of the Year 2 years ago at third base. Ozzie Smith with 10 appearances in the All-Star game. Ryan Sandberg at second base. Will Clark the Thrill, the National League Championship Series MVP last year, and the first start by Los Angeles Dodgers catcher since 19. Mike Sochi on the mound.
And Ricky Henderson at the plate, and he is quite capable of giving us a very explosive start. He has hit 43 home runs in his career as a leadoff hitter. Nonetheless, they have to play in and guard against the bunt. That's how versatile and formidable he is. Big, strong at 6'5", first pitch of the night. Upstairs for ball one. Coaching at third base is Jim Lefebvre. Manager of the Mariners and the Hall of Famer Frank Robinson at first. And ball two to Ricky Henderson, and you don't want to put him on base. Frank Robinson, a better look at him, Hall of Famer, and showing a lot of enthusiasm with his appearance here at Wrigley Field. 2-0 to Ricky Henderson. Ball three. And who's the skipper of the American League team? It's the manager of the defending champion Oakland A's, Tony La Russa. 3-0, and Armstrong wants to throw a strike here. And he did. It's 3-1. Wade Boggs will follow, and then Jose Canseco. A beautiful sight here now that the rain has ceased. And Armstrong trying to catch his breath out there. This is breathtaking for some of these players. There's a fly ball into right field. Andre Dawson knows how to play it out there. The wind carries it. He caught it. You can see how formidable the wind is. It kept taking it away from Andre, but he's been through the mill out there in that position.
The wind blowing from left field to right field. And I mean, it is strong, about 20 miles an hour coming out of the north.
And here is Wade Boggs. Boggs is a little low in his annual figures, but he is batting .306. And takes the strike, and waiting on deck is Jose Canseco. Mike Socha behind the plate, so Armstrong, I'm sure, feeling better about getting that first out of the way. Inside to Wade Boggs, 1-1.
Boggs nursing a left hand injury all season long, and in the middle of June he got a cortisone shot in that left hand. He has responded very well. 14 for 36 in July.
Armstrong got that breaking pitch over, and no need to tell you when you can throw hard, and this fellow is a good fastball pitcher. When he gets that breaking ball over, it backs the batter up. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And a little chopper, and that is trouble for Sabo. Can't make connections, and a base hit for Boggs. Boggs says, I'll take it. I'll take it, thank you.
7 consecutive 200-hit seasons for Wade Boggs. He has 94 hits this year. It's going to be very difficult for him to get a 200-hit season. Sabo, a do-or-die play, that in-between hop, but even if he comes up with it, Boggs has a hit.
Well, here's one of those players that baseball fans love to hate, or they hate to love. Jose Canseco. Note his batting average. Despite the home runs and RBIs, he hits for average as well. And he told Tim McCarver he's going to be pumping tonight. 1 on, 1 out. And that one just missed the outside corner. Wade Boggs, by the way, the runner at first, has not stolen a base all year, so Armstrong shouldn't worry about him. Will Clark holding against him. Frank Robinson coaching there. 1 on, 1 out in the first. And he had a big swing at that one. I love it when the big guys turn the bat loose.
That open stance of Canseco, as you see with his left foot, and the high fastball by Armstrong. Canseco, a good low ball hitter.
I don't think we'll see a hit and run here, do you? It is 1 ball, 1 strike to Jose. And a pop foul will blow out of play. 1-2 the count. So Armstrong, after falling behind Henderson and getting him on the fly ball, gave up the infield hit to Boggs, and now he's ahead on the count to Jose. 1-2.
4th All-Star selection, as you saw, but only his 2nd start. He was injured the first half of last year, still came back with 17 home runs, 57 RBIs in only half of a season.
And in the one full game he did play, he was 0 for 4. That was at Cincinnati. Short lead by Boggs. And 2-2. This pitcher, Jack Armstrong, is from New Jersey. Started his collegiate career at Rider College, ended up at the University of Oklahoma. He's quite a brash young man, and it has paid off in his stats. He's 11-3 for the year, and one of the big reasons why the Reds are sitting pretty. Two and two. 1 on, 1 out.
I was talking to Armstrong before the game. He didn't appear to be visibly nervous. It's not exactly, however, another day at the office. First full season with the Reds.
2-2 is the count. And a high fly ball foul. The wind will probably take it away. Clark is there. Can't get it. It flew back about a half a dozen rows. Still 2 and 2. Jose Canseco, in addition to the good figures we've already shown you, has 12 stolen bases, so he's tough to double. They move in. Smith a step in at shortstop, and Ryan Sandberg in a step at second base. Actually, this infield could absorb that rain which fell here a moment ago. It was pretty hard. Now it's about perfect. Got him with a breaking ball. And the fans here at Wrigley Field love it. That's the second out of the inning, as Canseco said, why didn't you throw me a fastball I could knock out of here.
This slider is off the plate from Armstrong. After the bevy of fastballs up and in, the slider gets Canseco.
Here is Cal Ripken.
Here's a better look at that slider to Canseco. Actually, it had more of the plate than I thought.
Ripken has made only one error in addition to compiling the offensive figures you see. One error this year, and he has 79 consecutive errorless games. He hacked at that one, knocked it straight back, and it's strike one.
Here he is, about a month ago, moved into the 6th spot with the Baltimore Orioles, and now he's batting cleanup on the All-Star team.
This is his 8th game in the All-Star appearances and 7 consecutive starts. Boggs at first. He was there with 1 out. He was there with 2 out. Or in the opening inning, Ricky Henderson flied out. Boggs an infield hit. Canseco struck out. And strike 1 to Cal Ripken. And that breaking ball missed. It's 1-1. Getting more clear by the moment here in the Wrigley Field area. And let's hope the rain stays away for this one. Ripken not doing very well in All-Star play with 3 out of 18. Boggs has been taking a very conservative lead. The National League president is here, Bill White. We're going to play some baseball. We don't want any designated hitter, he said. We're going to play some baseball. 1-1 the count with 2 out. Bouncer for Ozzie. Force out at second. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. 1/2 inning and no score at Wrigley Field. The American League didn't score, had 1 hit in the top half of the first inning, and from the Goodyear blimp, we'll look at Wrigley Field and a close-up look now at Bob Welch. Earlier this year, he won 10 in a row. He has a current record of 13-3. Here's the lineup which will confront him. Lenny Dykstra in center. Ryan Sandberg. Will Clark. Kevin Mitchell. Andre Dawson, who just signed a new contract today. Chris Sabo at third base. Mike Socia, the catcher. Ozzie Smith batting 8th, and the pitcher will bat in this game, and that's Jack
Defensively for the American League, Ricky Henderson, Ken Griffey Jr., Canseco in right, Wade Boggs at third, Cal Ripken Jr. at shortstop, Steve Sachs at second base, Mark McGuire at first base, Sandy Alomar Jr. Look at that, 3 juniors playing on defense. Like a high school, huh?
And here's a kid who looks like a junior as small as he is, Lenny Dykstra. He is leading the league in hitting at 360. And he knows what we're going to do to him later. We have some pictures of him as a kid, and he knows about it. He's, oh, no, you're not going to do that, are you? This is his all-star debut. I said, are you thinking about bunting? He said, no. Leads it off against Bob Welch. Ball 1. Dykstra has 4 home runs, 16 stolen bases. Welch and his battery mate, Sandy Alomar. On the corner and a called strike. Following Dykstra will be this gentleman, Ryan Sandberg, who received the biggest ovation of the evening. Boy, they love him here in Chicago.
Second day in a row. He also received the biggest ovation in the home run hitting contest yesterday.
And then helped his National League team win that home run hitting contest. Foul ball puts Dykstra in the hole 1-2. And Ed Montague, the plate umpire, left hands a new one out to the mound. Well, let's see if Lenny Dykstra shaved. Oh, he shaved for this game. That's nice of him.
Remember that movie, The Man of 1,000 Faces? That's Lenny Dykstra. Constant movement with the fingers. First Phillies center fielder to start an all-star game since Richie Ashburn did back in 1951.
And Harry Walker is the only other Philadelphia player to start in center field.
Check the fingers on Lenny Dykstra.
And he's choked up on the bat. 2-2 the count. The most games that Bob Welch has ever won is 17, so he's on his way to his banner season. Let's hope for him. 13-3. Leadoff hitter is Dykstra. 2-2 the count. No score. First inning. Wind blowing to right. For the left fielder, Ricky Henderson. Everything hit out to left field will hang up as it's rolled into the wind. And let's tune in. Let's tune in as they greet Mr. Sandberg. Sandberg up with 1 out. Look at those statistics. And 1 for the third baseman, Wade Boggs. Tagged by McGuire for the second out. So there are 2 gone. And the number 3 hitter for the National League is one who had a great playoff here at Wrigley Field in Candlestick Park, Will Clark.
There you could see on that ball hit by Sandberg. You mentioned earlier, Jack, that the infield was hard. It was, but the grass is very high on the infield. Balls do not shoot through that infield like it does in most parks.
Grass is high, it's wet, it's slow, and then it scoots when it gets to the dirt. Ball 1 to Will Clark. Clark, 14 home runs. Have him played accordingly. Here's a ball that's going to drop. So that's the first hit for the National League. The sweet stroke of Will Clark puts him on base. And he's used to standing on first base and looking in at the next batter.
Over the years, 20 Giants, 5 different Giants have started at first base. Will Clark's 3rd start. And he hits this ball right off the end of the bat. A little dumper into center field. First hit for the National League.
Ken Griffey got it back in, and Clark smiling at first base. Gave Mark McGuire a little punch down there. And here's his teammate, Kevin Mitchell. Had a couple of home runs on Sunday, giving him 21 for the year. Woo! And a good save by Sandy Alomar. That was a tough pitch to handle, Tim.
I guess Welch thought he had Ron Hassey back there. Ron Hassey has caught 49 of his last 51 starts. No truth to the rumor, as you see the fine play by the rookie catcher Sandy Alomar Jr.
And a breaking ball strike from Bob Welch.
No truth to the rumor that Hasse has been shipped in and the roster has been expanded.
There are 2 out here in the bottom of the first. No score. Mitchell chops it foul. He's in the hole 1-2. So for the most part, both of these pitchers are getting ahead on the count. That's Dave Steve. He's getting ready early in this game. Manager Tony La Russa said that his pitchers probably will only work 2 innings. Mitchell wouldn't go for it. 2-2.
I think it may be a little different with Welch because Welch was hurt in his last start. He only worked 3 1/3 innings. He was hurt in Milwaukee. He had won 10 in a row before that. So Tony may change things and go with only 1 inning out of Bob Welch tonight.
Will Clark's at first base. There are 2 out. 2-2 the count on the batter. And that's going to go out of play.
Kevin Mitchell wears that shin guard, that small shin guard on his left ankle because on sinker ball pitchers, of course, Bob Welch is a guy who rides his fastball, a high fastball, but with sinker ball pitchers, Mitchell is inclined to hammer those sinkers on his left foot. You see that more in evidence today. A lot of hitters who are low ball hitters and hammer their front foot will wear those shin guards.
Mitchell strikes out. First strikeout of the inning, and each team left a man in the opening inning, and we have no score. No score after 1. 1 hit for each club. Second inning. Jack Armstrong and Mike Scioscia still the battery. And here is Ken Griffey Jr. to lead it off. Number 2 in the American League in hitting. And inside ball 1. And now a strike is called by the third base umpire who said he went around on that one. To the opposite field and chased by Kevin Mitchell. The wind will affect it, and it is foul, and it is caught. 1 out. Where, oh, where is Pat O'Brien? I think he found a place to sit. I think he's out in the scoreboard.
You know what, Jack? I found a great place to sit. Indeed, I am in the scoreboard, a dying breed in baseball. A scoreboard that's operated manually. No fireworks, no electronics. All I got is Dean up here who does the scores. What's the hardest thing about this?
Well, you got to be careful on runners going home. Sometimes you can get mixed up with the third base coach going further down the line, and you might think that that's the runner, and he might wind up going back to third base. So you have to watch that real quick.
You're kind of the Vanna White of scorekeepers. Do you like high-scoring or low-scoring games?
I like the low-scoring. Good game.
Fellas, it may be a dinosaur, but I don't know one kid who doesn't like dinosaurs. Back to you guys.
Strike 1 to Mark McGuire. The foul ball makes it strike 2 as it goes out of play. Yeah, the scoreboard operator says don't count the coach if he steps on home plate. This is a low batting mark. It's the lowest, in fact, of any of the all-star players, of the 36 position players here in the all-star game. But he can make some noise. There's 1 out as he bats, and it's 1 and 2 from Armstrong. You're going to hear a lot about Alomars here this evening, and there's one of them, Sandy Jr. He'll bat next. The catcher for Cleveland. And it's 2 and 2. Don't look for Mark McGuire to choke up when he has a 2-strike count.
He's one of 3 rookies of the year with the Oakland Athletics. Canseco was the rookie of the year in '86, McGuire in '87, Walter Weiss in '88. They have strung some great years back to back to back.
2 and 2 to McGuire. And he got him with a breaking ball. Second strikeout for Jack Armstrong.
Jack Armstrong, All-American boy, has proven to be exactly that. Another slider to McGuire. Canseco, the other strikeout victim, on almost an identical pitch.
And Armstrong is almost through with the 2 innings he's going to work. This is Sandy Alomar. Only 3 home runs, but they tell us he's going to get stronger and hit with more power. That's a foul ball. Let's see what the wind does to it as Clark strikes it. And Armstrong finishes 2 good innings. An inning and a half. We look outside Wrigley Field. No score. It is still Bob Welch on the mound. Bottom of the second. No score. And it must be nice when you're only 36 to have everybody know that it's your birthday. Happy birthday to Andre Dawson.
What a birthday present from the Cubs, too.
Signed a new contract for 1991, and he taps it back to the pitcher, Welch. Oh, says the crowd. 1 out. And Dawson also has an option for 1992, which will be an automatic option if he has a certain number of at-bats. They haven't talked about the money they gave him, Tim, but I'm sure it's considerable.
I would imagine.
Here is a quiet and lethal baseball player, Chris Sabo. First pitch is a ball from Bob Welch.
Sabo, a teammate of Barry Larkin at the University of Michigan. Also a hockey player, good golfer, Rookie of the Year in 1988. And that was the year that the All-Star game was played in Cincinnati. And Sabo, as a pinch runner, stole second base in the 7th inning.
He'll show you some running, but he gets on base here. 2 balls and a strike. Coaching at third base, a very popular manager of the Cubs, Don Zimmer. He signed a new contract a few days ago. And over first base, Jim Leyland of the first place Pittsburgh Pirates. They're doing wonderful work there in Pittsburgh. We'll see them play next Saturday here on CBS. 2-2 to Sabo. The Padres will be playing in Pittsburgh next Saturday, and that's one of 2 games that we'll be presenting on CBS, and the other one will be the Kansas City Royals at Fenway Park against the Bo Sox. Sabo to deep short, backhanded by Ripken, and that's 2 out. No fireworks yet. Gee, I wish the wind was blown out. But this pitcher, Bob Welch, is happy we have the conditions we have. A nice slow infield with regard to the grass, the wind blowing in. He's almost through with his 2-inning stint. And here's Mike Scioscia. Scioscia gets the start because of the absence in the starting lineup of Benito Santiago. Santiago is in uniform and really lamenting the fact that he can't perform in this one. Scioscia is second start, and he shoots it at Ricky Henderson, and down go the National Leaguers. 1-2-3 pitchers duel here. After 2, no score. The friendly confines of Wrigley Field. These spectators are very, very close to the players and the playing field. It makes it quite enjoyable here. And the night is cleared. It's a wonderful evening after the rain which fell earlier. We were only delayed about 5 minutes or so for the start of the game. Here's a good young National League pitcher, Ramon Martinez. We also have Dennis Martinez on the National League team.
He leads the National League in strikeouts with 131. A fastball, a good changeup. He's been working with the pitching coach of the Dodgers, Ron Peranowski, on his breaking ball. It's a spinner right now. But he has a good fastball and a good changeup, and is used to throwing to Mike Scioscia. We mentioned, by the way, that Scioscia is the first Dodger catcher to start a game for the Dodgers since 1954, and Roy Campanella was the catcher that year as a starter for the Dodgers.
And speaking of Roy Campanella, our very best wishes and our prayers for him. He is still hospitalized in Los Angeles. We called out there today. There's been no change in his condition. And we certainly hope it gets better quickly. This is Steve Sachs to lead it off. He's the only Yankee on the American League All-Star team. And ball one from Ramon. And the plate umpire wants to check the baseball. We're going to have a pinch hitter for Bob Welch, and that will be Brooke Jacoby. Martinez behind on the count, getting ready to pitch to Steve Sachs. Sachs has only one home run this year. His specialty is getting on and running the bases, and that one just missed, and that's ball two. That's the way Armstrong started the game, getting behind the first hitter, but he came back and got him. Now it's ball three. Trying to get the breaking ball over on 2-0.
You mentioned Steve Sachs, the first and only Yankee on the American League team. The first time since 1972 that the Yankees have had only one player.
There are the strikes. Sachs thought it was a walk.
Hard to believe that Don Mattingly isn't on it. The first time Mattingly hasn't been on it since '83. Fifth different American League second baseman in the last 5 years.
Martinez has a pitch foul back. There's Ozzie Guillen, George Bell, Julio Franco. They're all friends tonight. All members of the American League All-Star team, and they're buddy-buddy for this one evening. 3-2 on the leadoff hitter, Sachs. From Ramon. Martinez, he walked him. Well, maybe we'll get some action now in this scoreless game in the third inning. Here's Jim Cott.
All right, Bob Welch got the American League out of the chute with a couple of effective innings. Now all the pregame stuff is going on, and you've got to go through a little weight. What's ticking in that heart at that time?
Nerves are ticking. Everything's battling, but it's been very special, and to represent the world champions and have my teammates here with me, and along with our manager and our pitching coach Dave Duncan and Dave McKay, made an extra special event.
Not the pressure of a playoff, so in this one you can enjoy it.
Yeah, you can enjoy it until you get on the mound, and I got that first out, and I felt much more comfortable after that. But it's been a special 2 days, and it's something that I'll cherish, and I'll never forget it.
All right, back to Timmy and Jack.
And the batter is Brooke Jacoby, hitting .314 on the season. Sachs a threat to run and test the arm of Mike Socia. Sachs has stolen 19 bases this year. A ball one to him, so Socia wants to talk to the young pitcher, Ramon Martinez. Ramon is a tall fella, 6'4" and only 175 pounds, but he is strong. And he can go a lot of innings and keep pumping that fastball. Sachs draws a throw, and he was digging in to run. Well, we've had 2 scoreless innings here at Wrigley Field. We had some rainfall before the game, delayed the contest only a few minutes, and thus far it's a pitcher's battle, but a leadoff walk to Sachs, who draws another throw, and he was leaning. The pictures you're viewing are from the Goodyear Blimp America, piloted by Captain Mark Kinnett. By the way, the Goodyear Blimp Puritan appeared at the very first All-Star game, 1933, and that was at Comiskey Park across town. And another throw to try to get Sachs. Frank Robinson coaching there. Will Clark holding against the runner. There have been no changes in the starting lineup defensively for the National Leaguers. In fact, they're obligated to play 3 innings as starters unless there's an injury. Sachs was going. They pitched out. 2-0. Now these good base runners will tell you, Tim, they can read the pitch out. Do you believe him?
Well, I don't believe that all base runners do. Sometimes the catcher will jump outside too early, and that may happen. Only 2 base running threats for the American League team, and that's Steve Sachs and Ricky Henderson.
And we'll see both of them this inning. Sachs is going, and he swipes it. It's into short center, but Ozzie is backing it up. So the walk turns into a double, a walk and a stolen base.
Jacoby swinging, obviously a hit and run right here. Sachs with a good jump, And Mike Scioscia really had to battle that late swing by Jacoby. Watch the position. And the throw is a short hop. And Sandberg can't hold on. Had he held on, Sachs steals the base easily anyway.
So the runner's at second with nobody out, and the batter Jacoby. No score, third inning. And out of play it goes. One hit for each club. Martinez gave a leadoff walk. I asked Tony La Russa if he had many signs to give to his new team, the All-Star team. He said, yeah, but most of them are hit. They have a hit and run sign. They have a take sign. Roger Craig told me he has a don't go sign. Two and two to the batter. Martinez could use the strikeout, and he is a strikeout sort. And the foul back here, keeping it 2-2. One of the most beautiful cities in the country is Chicago. You fly over tonight and you'll see an awesome sight. That's downtown Chicago, the tallest building, the Hancock building you see there. Making our way north along Lake Michigan out to Wrigley Field, where unfortunately they can get in less than 40,000. They could have put 100,000 here tonight had they been able to accommodate them. Runner at second, nobody out. Smith in behind the runner.
That's the daylight play. Martinez and Ozzie Smith. When Martinez sees Smith and there's daylight, of course it's tough to be daylight when it's nighttime, but when there's a gap between Smith and Sachs, the pitcher wheels and the throw on the first base side, and Sachs back in time.
And he's there with nobody out as the American League threatens to take the lead. Jacoby is jammed, hits it to third. The runner stays, and Sabo throws him out. One out. He had to pull that ball. So Sachs has to stay at second, and if he's thinking about stealing, he'll be a little more intent about it now. Here is Ricky Henderson back up there, flying to right to start this game. We were talking the other day, wondering if anybody could name a better leadoff hitter in the history of baseball. Not in this day and age, but ever. This fella can do a lot of things and do them well.
I don't think any leadoff hitter has ever combined the package of speed and power and grace, run producing ability better than Ricky Henderson.
Ooh, what a swing he had at that one. Strike one. American League leading hitters: Ricky Henderson, Ken Griffey, Ozzie Guillen, Dave Parker, Brooke Jacoby. They're all here. Those are the top 5 batting leaders in the American League.
The Athletics haven't had a batting leader since 1952, when Ferris Fain, for the second consecutive year, led the American League in hitting. That, of course, with the old Philadelphia Athletics.
And a strike, and Martinez popped one in there for strike 2. Ooh, that was a pretty good fastball, wasn't it, Ricky? Yes, it was. 0-2.
People talk about the small strike zone of Ricky Henderson, but with those fluorescent gloves that he wears, I mean, you'd think that that would be kind of a way to find the strike zone. Look at those gloves and sweatbands.
And he got it. Martinez cut loose with another pitch. Jack Armstrong, by the way, pitched 2 innings. No runs, 1 hit, struck out 2, walked none. And after giving a leadoff walk, Martinez has retired 2. Sachs swipes second. He's there with 2 out. And here is Boggs. They're going to walk him. Hey, what's going on here? Huh. They're going to pitch to Canseco. What's Roger Craig trying to do? Give us a little excitement here?
The Oakland Athletics beat the San Francisco Giants 4 games in a row last year. Roger Craig was the manager of that team. Possibly still feeling some disdain for Canseco and the Athletics. Very, very unusual move right here.
Well, he gives us something to talk about and write about. That's fine. Thank you, Roger. This will be the second walk by Martinez. Over there in the American League bench, what are they doing here? Hey, they're laughing at our hitters.
They can't believe it, and neither can I.
We'll see what comes of it. That's Julio Franco putting on the display in Ozzie Guillen. The kids are waiting for a Canseco blast beyond the left field fence.
He might be one of the few guys who could turn that wind around.
They hit quite a few out of here during batting practice when the wind was blowing just about as it is right now. Canseco struck out his first time. That was against Jack Armstrong. Two on, two out. And a power pitch and a power swing.
Canseco, a strikeout victim by Jack Armstrong in the first inning. Again, the high fastball, and that's what Martinez does, that high riding fastball.
And in fairness to Canseco, he missed quite a few games with a bad wrist. So he might not be finely tuned at the moment. Up and in.
Yeah, but he had a triple, a single, and a home run on Sunday.
Look at the look on his face with that pitch up and in, and hear the crowd.
Again, the high fastball. And Canseco ducking out of the way. And now Roger Craig wants to talk to Ramon Martinez.
Roger's serious, isn't he? Catcher goes out there, Socia, and Craig says, I don't know you two guys very well. What are you up to out here? What are you guys doing? Well, you're the one who told me to walk him and get Canseco out. There are two on, two out. Ryan Sandberg comes in from second base.
He may be talking about putting.
Smith.
He may be talking about putting the shift on for Canseco. Why? Otherwise, why would he bring Sandberg and Smith out there? Nope.
1 ball, 1 strike. They might be thinking about protecting against a double steal. There's Dennis Martinez of the Montreal club, getting ready to be the 3rd National League pitcher of the night. Everybody's smiling. You can see everybody's in a good mood, enjoying the festivities here. 2 on, 2 out. Get ready for another homer, Jose. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Think we'll see another fastball, Tim? Why not?
1-1 fastball, right around the letters.
2 walks in the inning. 2 on, 2 out. 3rd inning, no score. Crank it up, Ramon. Foul back here, and it stays 1 and 2. Man, if he throws a breaking ball and gets it over, Canseco will jump right out of his shoes.
I don't think he's going to throw a breaking ball. Socia catches him for the Dodgers, and as we explained before the inning, Peronowski's been working with him on the breaking ball, but his best pitches are fastball, changeup, and you're not going to go to anything other than that in this situation, a situation where Canseco could park one.
And he fouled this one back here. He was almost on that one. He had a pretty good swing, and it stays 1 and 2, and the fans are enjoying this battle with Canseco at the plate. He'll try to drive one into the wind, or maybe go the other way against this fellow and try to put the American League on top. 3rd inning, no score. One for Sandberg. Force out to Smith. 2 left for the American League. They have left 3. We'll return to the 61st All-Star Game Classic after this word from your local station. We take it back to 1971. Reggie Jackson against Doc Ellis. A blast that nearly turned the lights out in Tiger Stadium.
When Reggie hit the home run off me, I really didn't know where it was. I didn't know where it went or what. I just saw people reaching up in the upper deck, and later on I found out it hit the light tower.
There's Jose Canseco. He's not smiling after making the last out in the last half inning. He's standing in front of the ivy-covered walls out there in right field and Wrigley Field. I think you can call that Hollywood and Vine, can't you? He's a Hollywood sort of character, Jose Canseco. Hollywood and Vine.
Tell you, very unusual to walk Wade Boggs to get to Canseco. The injury that Canseco has had during the first part of the season certainly has something to do with that. But as we said, a home run, triple, and single, and Dave Stieb is in relief.
11-3. He's had a couple of blowout games go against him, but he's been a wonderful pitcher again this season. Pitches to Ozzie Smith, the switch hitter. And ball one. We're underway in the bottom of the third. There's no score. One hit for each club. And a shot to the shortstop, Ripken.
Ripken, 79 consecutive games without an error, and catches this ball a couple of inches off the ground.
He can move around for a fellow his size. He is 6'5". Not many shortstops are that big.
1,332 consecutive games, and should he play every day for the next 5 years, in June of 1995, he would catch Lou Gehrig, his consecutive game streak.
Well, here's one of my favorite people in the game of baseball, Tony Gwynn. He's pinch hitting for Ramon Martinez, and he takes ball one. This fella has won the National League batting championship 3 times. He's got a ways to go this year. 4 times for Tony. And it's ball 2. Dave Stieb pitched his collegiate baseball here in this state of Illinois. Pumps a strike. He played at SIU in Carbondale, Illinois, with Itchy Jones as his coach down there. He was an outfielder for a long while. Breaking ball to Gwynn. You don't usually fool him like that. 2-2.
It's that wicked slider from Dave Stieb. Slider, slider, slider. That very unusual motion. That stiff back leg. You don't see him come off that leg like Nolan Ryan does, for instance, or Tom Seaver when Tom was in his prime.
That's low, ball 3.
Stieb doesn't push off the back leg like most power pitchers. It's almost that straight up and down, and that's one of the reasons a lot of people think that he has one good year, one bad year, one good year. He's having a good year this year.
Well, you have to throw strikes to Tony Gwynn. He walks him. That's the first walk to the National League, and let's join Greg Gumbel.
All right, Jack, thank you. With me, National League starting pitcher Jack Armstrong. Your very first full year in the major leagues, you get to start the National League All-Star game. How did it feel?
Well, the full year ain't over yet, so but it did feel good. It was really fun to get out there, and it was just, I wanted to give the team a good start and get us a 0 on the board first, and it was good. It worked out the way it did.
We were talking a little bit about Roger Craig's approach to the game. Give us a little insight.
It's a good approach. It's the approach we should take. We lost the last 3. I say we. Our league has lost the last 3, and he said it's like the 7th game of the World Series, and he's going to play it to win.
All right, Jack, congratulations to you. Good game.
Thank you very much.
Jack?
Go back home.
And here's Barry Larkin. He'll go to the game and run for Tony Gwynn. Gwynn injured a knee in a most recent Padre game. So he was a pinch hitter, drew a walk, replaced by Larkin with 1 out here in the 3rd inning.
Speaking of injuries, it was Barry Larkin in the skills competition last year that injured his right throwing arm, and that put him out for the majority of the second half of the season.
He's a threat to steal, and the batter is Dykstra. Fly to left his first time, and a pitch out. If Larkin is going to steal a base, he'll have to do it against Sandy Alomar, who has a terrific throwing arm, the Cleveland catcher. He played a few games for San Diego before being traded over to the Indians. Good lead. And pretty close. 21 stolen bases for Larkin.
The catcher can't do it alone. The pitcher has to contribute. Any catcher who throws out the majority of the runners, or half of the runners, has help from his pitching staff, and certainly Alomar has been getting it from his Cleveland pitching staff.
There it's close again on the throw by Steve, giving the first base umpire Dave Phillips a couple of close ones to call.
Larkin back in time. Steve with a good, quick move.
Ooh, that was close. No score, bottom of the third. Larkin on at first with one out. McGuire had to save that one. He played Dykstra straight away. He's a punch hitter for the most part, but it does have 4 home runs.
Well, the problems that Dykstra had with the New York Mets was that he tried to lift everything. End up flying out to left field, to center field. He's hitting for an average more this year.
He hits it in the center for Griffey. Ken Griffey Jr. plays the wind and makes the catch. These outfielders, we saw them, we were watching them before the game, and they took plenty of time to make sure they knew what the wind was doing with the ball here at Wrigley Field. Now as the Chicago fans cheer Ryan Sandberg, the catcher goes out. Alomar wants to make certain that he and Steve are on the same page. They had a home run derby here yesterday. Ryan Sandberg helped the National Leaguers win the home run hitting contest with this blast. The wind was blowing out differently yesterday and in a different direction than it is tonight, but he can still get it out there. He grounded to third his first time. Larkin at first, 2 gone. There's hitting room through the right side, and Sandberg is not bashful about going there, particularly when the wind is blowing as it is. Wire dropped that ball.
Another quick move by Dave Steve to first base. Barry Larkin has been diving back. So Steve is really helping Alomar with the constant throws to first base. And McGuire, that ball rolling under Barry. Barry from Moeller High School in Cincinnati, the same school that Ken Griffey Jr. attended.
Sandberg, no balls, no strikes, batting with 2 out. National Leaguers have only 1 hit. We're in the scoreless bottom half of the third. There goes the runner. Save with a head first line. Well, you be the umpire in this one. How would you have called that one? Quite a throw by Sandy Alomar.
Well, a nice play by Sachs on the short hop. You could see Larkin pick that right foot up and put it back down. That takes time, and it almost cost him. A good play by Sachs on the short hop. It appeared that Larkin did beat the play, however. High tag. Strong throw by Alomar on line, but a little short hop as you saw Sachs dig it out of the dirt.
Now Larkin's at second with 2 out for Sandberg, and he chops it to third, and a good play by Boggs, and out at first, and the inning is over. So another man left. That's 2 for the National League. We have played 3 innings, and there is no score.
Don't I know you? Nice shoes. Yo, Tennis anyone? Are you sure we haven't met before? Now, where's that Tour de France thing? Nice shoes. I knew I should have taken the right turn at Albuquerque. Have you ever been to L.A.? Hold on, sir. That's what you think, dudes. Might you all join me in a spot of tea? Where'd you play your college ball? What is he doing here?
I thought this was another Bono's commercial.
Has anyone seen Bo's ball? I know, Kansas City. Nice shoes. Nice shoes. You ever play with Bo Diddley?
We were talking about with Barry Larkin. Watch how he picks the right foot up and puts it actually right back down. Well, that takes time, and it almost cost Barry a stolen base. He was just in there, and he'll stay in the game and play short, and Dennis Martinez will be the new pitcher.
And you could see the good call by the umpire at second. Larkin plays shortstop, and the new pitcher is Dennis Martinez of the Montreal Expos. 6-7 record. You know, there are 18 first-time All-Stars here tonight. And this fellow, Dennis, 35 years old, is the oldest of the first-time All-Stars. So he's happy for the honor.
All of the great years he had with Baltimore.
And look who he's pitching against.
Ex-teammate Cal Ripken Jr.
Ripken hit into a force out by way of shortstop his first time. And leads it off in the 4th inning of a scoreless game. Pitchers holding fourth. There's ball 2. This Martinez knows how to pitch. He seldom gets blown out of a game, despite that record you see of 6-7. Fly ball foul. And out of play. See, almost blew back on the field. That's the way the wind is moving. By the way, the wind has changed a little bit now. It's really going to hurt the batters. It was blowing toward the right field foul line. Now it is switched around and it's blowing almost directly into home plate.
Pitchers, even with a further advantage, they have an advantage anyway in an all-star game.
Chopper for Sabo.
And the reason they have an advantage is because most of these hitters have never seen the pitchers that they're facing, or have limited time in seeing them. Routine play for Sabo. There have not been a lot of balls hit hard tonight.
And those that are hit hard slow down very rapidly in this grass. What's the score, kid? I wonder if that kid knows what the score is. We're scoreless in the 4th. Folks enjoying a nice pleasant evening at the park now. And batting for the 2nd time is Ken Griffey Jr. One time I was interviewing his father, and I said, how's your boy doing in high school in baseball? He said, not so good. He said, in fact, he's not playing. He skies that one for Lenny Dykstra. 2 out. And his father, Ken Griffey, told me that his son wasn't playing in high school because his grades weren't very good. He said the high school coach doesn't like it very much, but his mother and I won't let him play unless he gets the grades up. So apparently it's paid off in a lot of directions.
Seattle came into the American League in 1977. They have never had a starter until this year. Ken Griffey Jr., the first Seattle starter ever in the All-Star game.
And it's Martinez to Mark McGwire, and a strike. 2 out in the 4th. And with 2 out. Breaking ball. A low breaking pitch, and that's strike 2. Well, things get better and better for the National Leaguers with Frank Violone warming up in the bullpen. They've used Jack Armstrong, Ramon Martinez, Dennis Martinez, and Viola getting ready. 0-2 to McGwire. On the corner, struck him out. It's a good pitch. Down in order goes the American League. Into the bottom of the 4th we go. No score.
Presents all-around champions. Mike Scioscia is a veteran catcher and known for his great skill at blocking the plate. He's also a devoted fundraiser for the Casa Colina Hospital, and through his enormous efforts, the hospital's wheelchair sports program has given traumatically injured patients a chance to play sports. Toyota is proud to contribute $1,000 to the Casa Colina Hospital. Toyota salutes all-around champions.
1950. Red Cheney's hit a home run in the top of the 14th. The National League won it 4-3. What happened to the ball, Red?
The clubhouse guy come to me and he says, Red, he says, the guy caught the ball he hit for a home run. He'd like to know if you won it. And I says, yeah. And he says, well, you have to get an autographed ball for him from the whole team. So I gave him an autographed ball. And about 2 minutes later, another knock come on the door, and the same thing happened. They caught my ball, so I never did get the right one.
Now the old redhead is managing the Cardinals again. Here is a breaking pitch to Will Clark. Strike call. We're underway in the bottom of the 4th here at Wrigley Field. Clark singled. He has the only National League hit thus far. Got a hit in the 1st. That's outside, 1-1.
That home run by Shane Deist at Comiskey Park. This is the 6th game played, the 6th All-Star game played here in Chicago, the 3rd at Wrigley Field. That kind of started the National League going. The American League held a 12-4 edge on the National League, but after 1950, the National League was 30-6 over the last 36 years or so.
Let's join Pat O'Brien with a special guest.
All right, Jack, thank you very much. With Cubs fan extraordinaire Bill Murray. And Bill, what does it mean to Chicago to have the All-Star game here?
It means that there are long lines in the men's room. There are long lines at Murphy's, all the bars and hot dog places around the neighborhood. Parking problems as usual. And a lot of people from out of town trying to get the tickets, you know.
How long have you been working for the Chamber of Commerce here?
All your life. Everyone's sort of, in Chicago, everyone is an auxiliary member of the Chamber of Commerce. We're all unofficially deputized. We can step in and sell something, real estate, or whatever is necessary, fix a parking ticket like that.
It's Andre Dawson's birthday. How about a little...
Happy birthday, dear Hawk. Happy birthday to you.
His movie's coming out Friday. That's a little superstitious, isn't it? Friday the 13th?
Well, lights in Wrigley Field, Friday the 13th, anything can happen.
Jack, back to you guys.
We went to great pains to put those two birds together. Pat O'Brien and Bill Murray. Here's a chopper to second and a big hop. To Steve Sachs over to McGuire. That's the first out in the 4th inning.
You said the two birds together, and the two birds together saying happy birthday to the Hawk. 36 years old today.
And meanwhile, at the plate, the big thumper, Kevin Mitchell. He struck out his first time. That was against Bob Welsh. He faces Dave Stieb. Now we have the umpires calling time for a moment. Something might have gotten on the field out there in left field.
Kevin Mitchell, the most valuable player in the National League last year, very upset at the beginning of the year because of a one-year contract. And with all of the money going around, you can kind of understand Mitchell's feelings. He thinks he deserves a multi-year contract with the Giants.
You saw Ed Montague. He's the home plate umpire taking care of a minor problem. Dave Phillips, Steve Ripley, Mark Johnson, Dana DeMuth, and Tim Welke is the other American League umpire. There was a light on across the street that was bothering the people in the home plate area. So now they have taken care of it. Clark is grounded out. There's one out. And Kevin Mitchell bats with the bases empty. Ball one. And 1-1. The defensive alignment still the same for the American League behind Dave Stieb.
Steve won 137 games during the 80s. Bob Welch, the person that he is relieving, won 140 games.
He went around on that one.
Only Jack Morris of the Detroit Tigers won more games in the 80s than Welch and Steve.
Steve ahead on the count to Mitchell. 1 ball, 2 strikes. No score. Bottom of the 4th. That's low, and it's 2-2. Out in the American League bullpen, Brett Saberhagen. Pretty good relief man to have getting ready. We've seen some talented pitchers here tonight, and they are holding 4th. There is a diving stop by Boggs. Mitchell is tagged by McGuire for the 2nd out. Mitchell is still not running full speed. Nice play by Wade Boggs at third base. They overlook his defensive abilities.
Boggs much maligned as a fielder when he first came up. And when you have 200-plus hits 7 years in a row, they still don't pay that much attention to your feeling. But that was a fine, fine play going to his left.
There are 2 men gone. National League has had 1 hit, 1 walk, and that's the offense so far. Ball 1 to Andre. Wind has switched around again, and it is as it was, blowing toward the right field foul line in from left. And again, we have that problem with that light across the street. Oh, there's a party going on. There's a party going on right here. Up on one of the rooftops, and that light is bothering the batters at the home plate area. Maybe that's why we don't have many hits here tonight.
Montague trying to get that light turned off, but it's outside the ballpark. I mean, he has control. He has control of things inside the ballpark. What about outside?
There's only one guy who can control that, and that's Pat O'Brien. He will go out there and turn that light on.
That might be Pat O'Brien out there, as a matter of fact.
There are 2 out. And a strike call. 1-1. Well, perhaps the folks out there were watching us on television and heard us report that, and were nice enough to turn it out. At least they'll turn it out while the National League is batting. There's a foul ball. 1-2. Steve issued a walk earlier, but since then he's retired 4 in a row. So all he needs is 1 more out, and his night's work will be finished. And that one hit the bat as Andre ducked it. They're waiting outside on Waveland Avenue, and they have a power hitter up there in Andre Dawson, but the wind is against these folks. The wind is blowing one way, as you saw that sign say. In. Struck him out. He went around. First strikeout for Steve. He retired 5 in a row, and we've completed 4 innings. And there is no score.
CBS Sports coverage of the 61st All-Star Game is sponsored by Toyota's quality line of cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. Nike, who reminds you to just do it. And by IBM, whatever your size, whatever your needs, IBM is working to bring you the best solutions.
Barry Bonds has entered the ball game. Kevin Mitchell is out of there. A lot of people talking about Sandberg being the MVP through the first half. What about Barry Bonds? He has racked up some monstrous numbers.
And he'll play in that left field spot as Frank Viola takes over the pitching duties. And Alomar, Sandy swings and fouls it back. Frank Viola facing some of his former opponents in the American League. He's #1 in the National League in ERA. 5 complete games. He's been a strong pitcher for the Mets. On the inside corner, boy, he's been a perfect, almost perfect pitcher this year. Alomar fouled out to first his first time. Sandy Jr. And that's deflected, and he is going to beat it out. So that is the 2nd hit for the American League.
And only the 3rd hit in the ball game. The National League with 1, the 2nd hit. And Sandy Alomar, as a rookie, starting for the Cleveland Indians. That ball, had it gotten through, I doubt that Sandberg would make the play, but maybe Barry Larkin could have made the play. But when Viola put the glove on it, Sandberg had no chance.
And now the batter is Steve Sachs. Pretty good hit and run man. Let's see if Tony La Russa wants to put something on. And a double play ball. 1, 2. Pretty good combination down there. Sachs is trying to go the other way, but when you have Sandberg and Larkin handling the ball, you're going to pull it off.
Made to order right here. And an easy double play. Sachs hit it hard. I wonder if Roger Craig's going to go more than an inning with Viola. Viola pitched Sunday against Atlanta. He went 7 1/3 innings. I tell you, it's a tough thing for managers in the All-Star game. You want to get everybody in there, but you don't want to run out of players if it goes extra innings.
This is Julio Franco. He is pinch hitting for Dave Steve.
One of the more unusual batting styles in the major leagues. He almost holds his bat parallel to the ground.
Count goes to 1-1.
Franco went from Philadelphia to Cleveland to Texas with that same batting style.
Barry Larkin waits, scoops and throws. No runs, 1 hit, double play, nobody left. Bottom of the 5th inning, no score. The pitching of Jack Armstrong set the tone for this one. First pitch to start an All-Star game in his first full Major League season. And then I guess one of the highlights of a low-light game, the intentional walk to Boggs to pitch to Canseco, and the National Leaguers got him out. That was Ramon Martinez. And now the new pitcher, Brett Saberhagen. He is the 3rd of the night. Strike call to Chris Sabo. We have a new second baseman for the American League team. And that's Julio Franco of the Texas Rangers. Sabo, 1 ball, 1 strike. Grounded to short his first time. Bottom of the 5th, no score. Third baseman Boggs. Long throw. Got him. And the pitching prevails.
Brett Saberhagen, the youngest pitcher in American League history to win the Cy Young Award back in 1985. A brilliant World Series against the Cardinals when the Royals came back. Boy, he has struggled this year. He also won the Cy Young Award last year. So 2 Cy Young Awards in the last 6 years for Brett Saberhagen.
Despite that 5-7 record, there are times when he is unhittable. Socia tries him. There's a strike. Well, they say good pitching will stop good hitting every time. We've seen some good hurling tonight. Socia lined to left his first time. Mike took it inside. 1-1. Sosa uses the entire field when he hits. He has an unusual number of home runs for him this year. A total of 8. Most he's ever hit is 10 in 1 year. That was last year. 1 ball, 2 strikes. American League has 2 hits. The National League only 1. And a strikeout for Saberhagen. Jim Cott has one of the infielders with him.
Well, only 4 players in the history of this game have 200 hits in each league. We're fortunate to visit with one of them, Steve Sachs, All-Star National League, All-Star American League. What's this day like for you?
Well, it's a special day. Anytime you can come out and accomplish anything in this game, as we were talking earlier, it's a plus. But just to be here is a real joy. It's fun to participate in the game.
All right, Jack.
Steve Sachs drew a walk, stole a base, hit into a double play, and this is Barry Bonds. There are 2 out. He is batting in the spot where Ozzie Smith started. And he cranks one up in the air. The wind hangs it up for Canseco, and down goes the National League. 1-2-3 on another day. That would have flown out of here, and now we have 5 scoreless innings. A look from the Goodyear blimp at Wrigley Field, and the scoreboard tells you that the pitchers are holding forth. We look at the American League dugout. There's Kirby Puckett. We'll see him before this game is over. Roger Clemens, second from the left. George Bell closest to you. Breaking ball over but low to Ricky Henderson. We're underway in the 6th inning. Now here's the new third baseman, the very talented Tim Wallach. Shortstop is Sean Dunston. And the Houston pitcher, Dave Smith. Got a strike in there. He's a curveball pitcher. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Dave doesn't throw real hard. A good fork ball. That's his out pitch.
And he throws strikes and gets ahead on the count to Ricky Henderson, who is fly to right and struck out. Number 1 in the American League batting race. Foul tip keeps him alive. It's the top of the order for the American League, facing Dave Smith. I talked to a lot of clubhouse people around the National League. They tell me that this fella, Dave Smith, is the most generous of all the players in the National League to the clubhouse people.
That's a pretty good tip.
Ricky Henderson. Skies at the left. The wind hangs it up. Nothing's going to jump out of here tonight. Dykstra wants it. How dare you, says Bonds. Are you kidding me, you little twerp? Get out of the way and let me catch that thing.
Let the tall man have it. Dykstra is waving Bonds away, but Barry obviously doesn't hear Lenny, and it's Barry, the taller player.
Dykstra looked like he was going to catch it in his mouth for a while. And here is Wade Boggs. He has a single, one of the 2 American League hits, plus the intentional walk ahead of Canseco. And ball 1 from Dave Smith, and he gets one in now. 1 ball, 1 strike. By the way, each of these teams has 10 pitchers. Here's Canseco. He'll be next. Viola pitched 1 inning, gave up a scratch hit, struck out none, walked none. He followed Jack Armstrong, Ramon Martinez, Dennis Martinez to the mound. And now Dave Smith follows Frank Viola. Runs the count to 3-1.
Jack, this has been a terrible offensive display so far. I mean, think about it. 2 scratch hits, 2 infield hits by the American League.
There's one through the hole by Boggs.
That might be the hardest hit base hit of the evening.
Something will happen before it's over.
The only hit by the National League, a ball hit off the end of the bat by Will Clark. This is a 38 hopper through on the right side. Boggs' 2nd hit of the night. He's been on base 3 times.
Well, the fans will pay attention now to Canseco. That ball went between Will Clark and Ryan Sandberg and died in the grass out there. There's Kelly Gruber, and he is going to be the runner for Boggs and take over 3rd base. Gruber of the Blue Jays. Well, Boggs had a good night, an intentional walk, and 2 for 2. That's not unusual for him.
If you could pick an offensive MVP now, which you have to do, but you don't want to, it would have to be Wade Boggs.
Yeah, scratch hit on the infield, plus a 10 bouncer through there. Ball in the dirt to Socha as Canseco bats. Well, we've got too many good hitters, too many power hitters in these lineups for something not to occur before long. There'll be an explosion, wind or no wind. The wind has diminished a little bit as we view it. One on, one out, and waiting to bat next is George Bell. There he is. And the count goes to ball 2 to Gruber running the bases with 1 out.
It's a dangerous situation right here. A hitter, when he's ahead in the count, is not as apt to go at a bad ball. 2 balls, no strikes.
Dave Smith is the pitcher, and he kept it away, and it's 3-0.
I would imagine LaRussa will allow Canseco to hit away right here. I mean, here's a guy who's 0 for 2. LaRussa has Canseco as one of his players, and I think Tony wants him to pop one. He was struck out and grounded out to 2nd.
Well, let's watch this swing if he is swinging. No, he took it. 3-1. Runner on first, 1 out. Well, he'll be swinging now if it's around the plate. There's a throw over there to try to get Gruber. Will Clark's played the entire game to this point.
Yeah, he's the only National League first baseman.
And they call a balk. A balk is called. So the umpires are serious about this game, and Gruber down to second base. I believe it was the plate umpire Montague who called that one, although I heard 2 or 3 voices.
Well, if it was a balk, Canseco should be coming back to first base. Gruber steals, or attempts to steal second.
And it was ball 4, and because the other runner advanced a base, the pitch counted. And so the walk counted, and there is no balk. And it's a runner at first and second. So the balk is off the records now because it was ball 4 and the other runners advanced. And here is George Bell. Jeff Brantley, a little bulldog of the San Francisco Giants staff. Well, we saw him get whacked last Saturday by a line drive.
See, I'm a little surprised right here that Ed Montague will allow Jose Canseco, and I think that's what La Russa is talking to him about right now. The count was 3-1, and a balk was called.
Well, the question would be, was the balk called before the pitch was time called? And I don't think it was. So they're explaining it to La Russa. That's David Phillips, the umpire. Yeah, Montague called it. Ed Montague, the plate umpire, called it. And it was ball 4. So they called a balk, but it was ball 4. The other runner advanced, and so they give the base on balls to Canseco, and La Russa lost the argument. 2 on, 1 out for George Bell, his first at bat. Ball 1, and Dave Smith is heading for trouble. At second base, Kelly Gruber. And at first, Jose Canseco. And at the plate, George Bell. 17 home runs this year. And 60 runs batted in. Sixth inning, no score. Only 4 hits in this game to this point. 3 of them by the American League. Sandberg trying to keep the runner close at second, and some rain comes. That breaking ball missed. 2-0.
First time in this ball game that either side has had 2 runners on.
Had some rain here about 4:30 this evening. Well, we get a little more. Bell missed it. 2-1. George Bell would like to do something for the Toronto people, and Ken Griffey waits to bat next. Cal Ripken was 0 for 2 while he was in the game, and Bell is batting in his spot. 2 on, 1 out, 6th inning, no score. Rain is rather light. The fans haven't started to scurry yet. That's ball 3, 3-1. Three balls and a strike. There's a half a chance they'll start the runners, but probably not. Bell's a big free swinger. He missed it 3-2.
All infielders are anticipating balls hit to them. You see Tim Wallach on the pitch, and most good infielders allow themselves to be up on the balls of their feet when the ball is thrown in the hitting area. I think they'll send the runners right now.
We'll see. 3-2 with 1 out. Bell crouching at the plate, and the runner's going. Struck him out, and no throw. A double steal. Gruber swipes third. Canseco down to second base. The strikeout of Bell is the second out of the inning.
I think Mike Scioscia had second base in mind. Canseco and Gruber both running, but Wallach going over to third base. Scioscia really wanted to throw the ball to second base.
You're right.
And then he saw no one was covering, so he just held on to it. I wonder if they'll walk Griffey right here.
They will. This will be the second walk of the inning by Dave Smith. So the hit by Boggs has been lifted for the pinch runner, plus the 2 walks will load them up with 2 out. And who are we going to get to the plate? The leading home run hitter in baseball this year, Cecil Fielder. So the walk to Griffey. McGuire was 0 for 2. Mark McGuire 0 for 2, having struck out twice. And Cecil will come up to try to provide some fireworks in this scoreless game. 6th inning. Bases loaded, 2 out.
Oh, what a story. One of the biggest stories in baseball this year. 38 home runs in Japan last year. He has 28 home runs to lead the major leagues this year. I guess you could say he's a comeback player of the year. He came back from Japan, right, to play in the United States again.
I saw him in Florida this spring, and everybody was talking about how big he was, how overweight he was. But they don't talk about that anymore. All they talk about are the home runs he's been hitting. And, of course, he plays in a perfect ballpark for a perfect manager, Sparky Anderson, and Tiger Stadium. Well, we're going to have a pitching change. Manager Roger Craig goes to the bullpen. Here you see the home run leaders in the American League, with Fielder on top with 28. And Jeff Brantley takes over the pitching duties. Base hit loaded, 2 out, no score. Top of the 6th, Cecil Fielder at the plate. And Roger Craig, the manager, says to his bullpen ace, Jeff Brantley, get him out. Fielder's first at bat. Towering fly ball, and the center fielder Dykstra is there. American League leaves 3. They have stranded 6 and hit into a double play. We'll return to the 61st All-Star game after this message. A word from your local station. A light hitting affair. 3 hits for the American League, 1 for the National League. And here is Sean Dunston. He'll bat for the first time where Barry Larkin had been batting. We'll see some swings against Saberhagen because Dunston doesn't let much go by. Saberhagen still on the mound. His 2nd inning of work. And outside. They have some defensive changes. A few umbrellas are still open here as a bit of rain falls. Up high ball 2 at first base. It's Cecil Fielder who flied out with the base hit loaded. New third baseman is Kelly Gruber, who entered the game as a pinch runner. And we have a new shortstop as well, Ozzie Guillen of the White Sox. Look out, folks. Ooh. That ball was a whistler off the bat of Dunston. 2 balls and a strike. Let's hope no one was hurt with that one. Here's the proud daddy, Sandy Alomar Sr. has 2 sons playing in this game.
Yeah, Jim Leland was the first base coach for the first 4 innings. Roger Craig giving Sandy a chance to coach now. What a proud papa he must be.
Dunston went out after it, but it's going to be caught by George Bell, who was taken over in left field. Here comes Lenny Dykstra. Let's look at him when he was a kid. He's going to kill us for this. He looked like a little orphan Annie there. He's going to kill us when he finds out we showed those pictures. He might sue us. And the rain increases. That's bad news. Bottom of the 6th, no score. And a strike to Dykstra. Fly to left. Fly to center. He owes the right fielder one. Well, on another evening, the umpires might be inclined to cover the field and wait this thing out. A ball low to Lenny. He bats with 1 out.
I'll tell you, with that rain coming down, there's nothing routine. Lenny Dykstra making the catch in the top of the 6th. You look up there, and there are about 1,000 baseballs you're trying to catch.
That one just missed, down and in, 2 balls and a strike, and that was with the bases loaded when Dykstra made that catch. And what are you going to do with these umpires and this game and the rain? Bottom of the 6th, no score. extra little blooper, and it carries out to Bell for the second out, and Greg Gumbel is standing by.
All right, Jack, with me is Kevin Mitchell of the San Francisco Giants, and Tim McCarver said it. Pitchers have the advantage in this game. You guys have to face not only a fresh pitcher who's only out there to throw an inning or two, but one of the 10 best in the league.
Well, he's right about that. I'll tell you, the pitchers they got over there is, they're top quality pitchers in baseball, and it was just good to face pitchers like what we did face. It was good to see that.
Kevin, one of the things that it says in the media guide is your nickname is Boogie Bear. Do you know what those fans out in the left field bleachers would have done to you if they'd known that?
Oh, like they're doing now. I tell you, coming to Chicago is not one of my favorite parks. These fans here, they still get on me no matter what.
Yeah. All right, Kevin, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jack?
Imagine a player of that sort moving from New York, the Mets, to San Diego, to San Francisco, and he's one of the best. Here's Sandberg with a 2-ball, no-strike count. Hits it hard. Griffey's after it. And down goes the National League. 1, 2, 3. Now we played 6 innings and still no score. No score as we go into the 7th inning here at Wrigley Field in Chicago. Look at that. Only 4 hits. On the mound, it's Jeff Brantley. And at the plate, it is Sandy Alomar, and his brother Roberto is playing second base. That's nice, isn't it? Sandy has a hit, an infield hit, 1 for 2. And the count goes to 1 ball, 1 strike. In right field, the straw man, Darryl Strawberry. Out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
The last brothers that played against each other in all-star competition, Lee May and his brother Carlos May, back in 1972. How about that? Sandy Alomar Jr., the first catcher, rookie catcher, to start an all-star game.
Another one out of play, keeping the count 1 and 2.
I think what that shows you is how difficult it is to break into the catching position. Catchers usually, when they have some seasoning on them, are much better. When you come up, you've got more to worry about than your hitting. You have your pitching staff to worry about, throwing, defense, balls in the dirt, and hitting also.
Yeah, we've seen that with Todd Zeal, the first-year full-time catcher for the Cardinals. His brother Roberto is not quite as big as Sandy Jr.
I'll say Sandy Jr. is 6'5". Tough to play that position and be that tall.
And ball's foul also, 1 and 2.
And the reason for that is you got to get down, you got to give a lot of low targets, you got to get down in the dirt, and I'm telling you, he has some great hands. Playing in the shadow of Benito Santiago of the Padres for so long. Got a shot at the Rookie of the Year award with Cleveland.
And he takes the ball, 2 and 2 from Jeff Brantley. Brantley made only 1 pitch to end the 6th inning. He's working the 7th, following Jack Armstrong, Ramon Martinez, Dennis Martinez, Frank Viola, and Dave Smith to the hill. 2 and 2. He missed the outside corner. Alomar is leading off.
Speaking of Benito Santiago, by the way, it was Jeff Brantley who broke his left arm. So Santiago could be playing against Alomar.
Off the fist and fouls. Keeps it 3 and 2.
How many times do you see that? The numbers 1 and 2 catchers in an organization. One is traded, the number 2 guy in Alomar, in the offseason, and they could very well have started against each other in this year's All-Star game.
And a foul tip, and that fell to Mike Scioscia. Boy, that's a tough job back at that dish. No dancing tonight, Mike.
Mike wearing that protective cup behind the plate, and it appears to have hit him there. Yep. When it comes down from the top, it is much more forceful because it doesn't hit the ground first, but it's much more forceful. Mike appears to be all right.
And these umpires ignore the rain, which is pounding down here in the 7th inning. They can jam about 40,000 people at the most here at Wrigley Field. This is a look from our Goodyear blimp. have a rainy night to contend with up above. It's a good at bat by Sandy Alomar. He's fouled off quite a few difficult pitches. He's leading off in the 7th inning. That one is a tough chance for the shortstop Dunston, and he is safe, and he really jammed into the base. That's the second hit for Alomar. A good effort by Dunston. It looked like he had no chance, but with that great arm of his, he darn near got him.
Yeah, if Sean Dunston can't go in the hole and throw you out, then the play can't be made. He has the strongest arm of any shortstop in the major leagues. Tough to get leverage right there. I'm sure John McNamara, watching this game, concerned about Sandy Alomar Jr. sliding into first base. John, of course, the manager of the Cleveland Indians. Here it is one more time. How many times do you see the catcher sliding in? The top foot went over the bag. Not your Spalding guide slide right there.
We had a clock on the throw by Dunston, 77 miles an hour. A long throw from short.
Well, that's not fair because Dunston really threw the ball flat-footed. He lost his balance, but it just shows you how strong that arm is. He has a gun.
Lance Parrish hopes to get something done at the plate as he bats for the first time. The leadoff man is on for the American League here in the 7th inning. They now have 4 hits. 2 of them by Sandy Alomar and 2 by Boggs, and Dunston is checking the rain. Harris takes the pitch low and away, and that's ball 2. Couple of warming up. The Nasty Boys are down there. Dibble on the left and Myers on the right.
Hey, Roger Craig's got a problem with his pitchers. He's already used 6 pitchers with 2 more warming up, and it's a scoreless ball game, a tie game. If this game goes into extra innings, the National League could be in trouble.
And it might just do that the way the hitting and the scoring has been. 2-0 the count. Lance Parrish is the batter. He's had 16 home runs this year and 42 runs batted in. Long time in Detroit, then over with the Phillies. He'll get his swings before this at bat is over. Leadoff hit by Alomar, being held by Clark. Wills played the entire game. Frank Robinson coaching at first. Inside, and it's 3-0, and again they might turn the hitter loose. They play Parrish as a pull hitter. And now the wind has shifted around a little bit, kind of blowing toward the left field corner, so maybe we shall get some scoring. He was taking all the way, and it's 3-1. By the way, Norm Charlton back home, be happy to know he was represented here because Rand Myers wore Charlton's uniform shirt during pregame practice. So they stuck together, Dibble, Myers, and Charlton. 3-1. 3-2. Little wrinkle on that pitch, Tim. From Brantley. Brantley lives in Clinton, Mississippi.
Went to Mississippi State along with Will Clark, Rafael Palmeiro, Bobby Thigpen. 3 members of that team represented here tonight. Clark, Thigpen, and Brantley.
Runner at first, nobody out. 3-2 on the batter. Going. Base hit. It'll be first and third with nobody out on the hit by Parrish. Now looks like the American League is poised to take the lead in the 61st All-Star game. Where's Pat O'Brien? He has found the ultimate fan.
All right, Jack, thank you very much. As a matter of fact, Jay Leggett here had a little party over at his house. And, Jay, looking for some offense in this game.
Yes, I am. It's kind of disappointing so far. Pitcher's duel, but I'm waiting for some hits.
The reason why it's raining in Jay's house is that we are at his house, but he has moved his living room into his front yard. I'm not kidding you, folks. This is Jay's living room in the rain. And there we are. And it's time to go back to the ballpark. Back to you fellas.
And O'Brien can dig him up. First and third and nobody out. And hitting for the second time in this game is Julio Franco. He has come on to be a very steady performer for the Rangers. The ground crew has spread some dry sand, and Tony La Russa trying to figure out a way to get a run across. It's Dave Duncan behind him. Doug Jones, Saberhagen, Franco. Tough to hit with that wet bat and the water dripping off the bill of the helmet.
I think saw one of the members of the grounds crew. He's going down to the American League bullpen. It is becoming slippery. It's not too often that you find the bullpen more slippery than the field.
Yeah, and one thing we should point out here, this is one thing that the umpires will not put up with. First of all, Roger Craig comes out, and he might lift Brantley right here. But if the umpires find that there's danger of somebody being injured slipping in the mud, you know, the rain is one thing. But once it gets soggy out there, and the umpires have to think seriously about holding things up. Wonder if we can see the cut on the bridge of the nose of Ed Montague. There's Roger Craig, and he's going to leave Brantley in.
That cut on the nose occurred when Vince Coleman of the St. Louis Cardinals slid into second base, was called out by Ed Montague, who was, of course, the second base umpire. And Vince inadvertently came up, and the bill of his hard hat hit the bridge of the nose of Ed Montague.
He said that hurt.
And Coleman suffering a 7-day suspension as a result.
Now they're going to cover the field. That's what I was talking about. Once the umpire deems it dangerous that a pitcher might slip off the mound and hurt himself or something, here comes Tony La Russa to talk with the umpire to get his thoughts about this situation. First and third, nobody out. 7th inning, no score. The umpire said, we're going to need a little work. We're going to cover the field, and we're going to repair the field before we resume. And La Russa just wanted to check something with Montague, perhaps the batting order or something of the sort. The fans came prepared tonight because all day long it looked as though it was going to rain here in Chicago. There they go to work. This infield will absorb quite a bit of this rain, so it won't be in bad playing shape, but we're going to have a genuine delay here in the top of the 7th inning of a scoreless game.
Starting time was supposed to be 7:40. It was delayed 15 minutes. It eventually started at 7:55.
Well, there'll be some stories swapped. That's the American League bench. And Big Dave Parker. We'll see him before the night's over in all probability. Another look at the fans and the preparation that they made for this game. No score. Top of the 7th. American League threatening. First and third. Nobody out. Although the rain is quite heavy and steady, it has brightened a little bit, so we're hoping this rain delay won't last very long. As you can see, the field is covered. There's no score. We're in the top of the 7th, the American League, with the first big threat of the night. In at first and third, and nobody out. And Julio Franco will be at the plate when we resume. You know, the first All-Star game was in 1933. It was also here in Chicago, but at the other park, Comiskey Park. And fittingly, Babe Ruth hit the first home run. Charlie Gehringer was on first base at the time. He remembers the moment and the Bambino.
He had that feeling that you get on and I think we can win it. Because he always went for the downs. He always got a big hand, and he liked it. He was a big overgrown boy that had a lot of fun playing the game.
Charlie Gehringer says the Babe was a big, overgrown boy who loved the game. And by the way, Charlie Gehringer was 10 out of 20 in All-Star competition. I'm very happy that we were able to get him involved in this game. I've had the pleasure of meeting the Hall of Famer. A wonderful, quiet, easygoing, nice fella. Well, what's the commissioner doing? He's probably found the shelter of the dugout, and he's visiting with Dave Parker. And a chance to visit with Jim Cott.
All right, visiting with Wade Boggs, 6th All-Star game, but I got to believe you come here and you're saying, man, I hope the wind is blowing out so we can put on a show.
Well, that was what my grandmother had asked for. Her birthday's today, and I wanted to wish her a happy birthday. And she said, hit me a home run, and all I could do was settle for 2 hits.
You know, you got on base a few times, but I think oftentimes it goes unnoticed about you is the way you've improved in the field. You've really worked at that, haven't you?
I really have. I came to the big leagues with the label that you can't play third, and I've really worked hard over the last 9 years to bring it up. And you've got 2 jobs. One's to hit, and one's to field, and you can win ball games by fielding too.
Well, 3 times on base tonight. The American League hasn't had a lot of offense. Wade Boggs has been most of it. Let's go over to Greg Gumbel. He's going to visit with Frank Viola in the National League locker room. Greg?
All right, Jim. Yeah, he's one of those guys responsible for a lack of offense out there tonight. We were just talking about how that's a pretty sensible decision by the umpires because it looks like it might get a little dangerous out there.
Yeah, you know, an all-star game, I know it's for the fans, but you also have to realize that there's 9 guys in each team going out there, and when it gets wet, you could have an accident, and I don't think anybody wants to see that.
Yeah, Frank Viola, of course, one of those rampaging New York Mets. Things have been kind of fun for you guys lately. In fact, I wonder how it affects the team now that you take a little break from the action.
Well, we'll have to find out. We start off with 5 games in 4 days against Cincinnati, so it'll be a true test right from the start. But, you know, I think we're all very confident, especially after the last month and a half that we played. You know, our talent's finally going out there and showing what we can do. And, you know, it makes for a lot of fun. It was a disappointing end of last year for the Mets, and it was a terrible start this year. But we always knew that we can do it. It was just a matter of... I guess a kick in the butt, and I think that kick in the butt was Davey getting fired and Buddy taking over. And, you know, you hate to see a manager go, but in this instance, I think it lit that fire that we needed. And since then, we've taken off.
Okay. Frank Viola taking part in his 2nd All-Star game. Thank you, Frank.
Okay, Greg. Thank you.
Jack, Tim?
Frank had an easy night's work with one very easy inning for Frank Viola, and there's Jose Canseco on the bench wondering if he'll get another at-bat and a base hit. One thing this rain delay does for us is give an opportunity to look back at what's called the first half of the season, in particular, Tim, the American League West, and the most shocking, surprising, and pleasant story.
Absolutely. The surprise of the 1990 season so far, you saw Jose Canseco sitting next to Bobby Thigpen, who leads the major leagues in saves with 27. And the Chicago White Sox in 2nd place, 18 games over 500. Last year was the Northsiders, the Chicago Cubs. This year, the last year at Comiskey Park, and I think that's what makes the story so warm, is next year they'll be in a new ballpark.
And only one team can be in first, and the people in Seattle are really enjoying their season because their club has improved. They're entertaining the fans. They're only 9 games out, and of course, to finish the American League West story, it's the disappointing showing of the Kansas City club.
Signing Mark Davis, of course. Mark Davis with a start the other day. That didn't work. And signing him to that big lucrative contract. We've already seen Brett Saberhagen tonight, 5-7 on the year. And he could, if the American League could win this ball game, then Saberhagen could be the winning pitcher. We'll see.
He's in there at the moment. We'll see what happens after the rain lets up and we resume, and we'll get some more play before this evening is over. Fans standing by patiently. Field, it is brighter and the rain has lessened. We're in the top of the 7th inning. There is no score. The American League has runners at 1st and 3rd, nobody out. Julio Franco will help tell the story of this game. And we have a rain delay.
Past All-Star games that had rain problems. 1952 at Shive Park. Of course, that was later Connie Mack Stadium. It was called after 5 innings. And then in 1961, at the 2nd game, you remember there were 4 years, 59 through 62, where they played 2 All-Star games a year. And then in 1969, RFK Stadium, Steve Carlton was supposed to start that game, and he started the next day. Tremendous home run by Frank Howard. Greg Gumbel is with Andre Dawson down in the National League locker room. Let's go down to Greg.
All right, Tim, thank you. And obviously the first thing that has happened is they have rained on Andre Dawson's birthday parade. But happy birthday anyway.
Thank you very much, Greg.
You are celebrating a brand new contract, and one thing that strikes me about the last couple of contracts that you have signed, or in this case will sign, is that your contract negotiations with Cub management appear on the surface at least to have been very amicable. It was almost you fill in the numbers the first time around, and this time everything seems to have been treated very nicely and very smoothly.
Well, I think the last 4 years I've earned the respect of management, the organization, the fans, as a love affair that brewed from the very beginning. And I think they realized that this is where I wanted to spend the remainder of my days, perhaps end my career. And I anticipated negotiations probably starting at the end of the season, but this is something I think both parties felt if we did it and got it out of the way, we can concentrate on what was at hand. And I'm happy that this is something behind me, and I look forward to the next 2 years.
I know that you expected it and Ryan Sandberg expected it, the thunderous ovations when you were introduced at the beginning. But how did you feel as you trotted out there to all that noise?
Well, I had butterflies. I didn't think after all of these years I could get butterflies again, but I was a little queasy inside. Had butterflies the first at bat. Probably try to be able to do a little bit too much, be a little bit too aggressive, but settle down a little bit. I'm just thrilled that I've had the opportunity to play here amongst these fans who, in my mind, there's no doubt about it, they're probably the best fans in all of baseball.
All right, Andre, thanks again. Happy birthday to you.
Okay, thank you.
Andre Dawson of the Chicago Cubs. Let's take it out now to Pat O'Brien, who has a very special guest with him. Patrick.
All right, Jack, thank you. I'm in the American League dugout with Commissioner Fay Vincent, who's enjoying a cup of coffee. We're keeping dry down here. What about this? What are you going to do?
Well, I'm told that they expect it to let up in about an hour from when we postponed, or at least put the tarp out. So we'll wait the hour and see what happens.
If it had been a score now, it's an official game now. Would you stop the game now? Is that the idea that you don't have a...
I think we always wait. I think we owe it to the fans. We wouldn't call it this quickly. We'll wait, see if we can finish it.
You like hanging around the dugout anyway, right?
I'm talking to a great pitcher about his no-hitter. Sure, Randy Johnson.
Back up to Jack. See you, fellas.
Well, while we're waiting to resume here at Wrigley Field, let's look in as William Shatner hosts 2 real-life stories of uncommon courage and compassion on a special episode of Rescue 911.
It may eventually be called the longest day or the longest night, but right now it is still the 61st Major League All-Star Game. Welcome back to Wrigley Field in Chicago, everyone. It's been a good news, bad news night, and for every bit of bad news, which was rainfall, there's been a little good news like right now. The ground crew removing the tarp, and we are determined to resume this All-Star Game in the top of the 7th inning. The National League and the American League are scoreless right now, and both teams hoping to remedy that in the very near future. Right now, let's take you back upstairs to Jack Buck and Tim McCarver. Gentlemen.
Well, the patience has been rewarded. They're taking the cover off the field, and it'll be good enough conditions to get things underway. And the American League has the biggest threat of the night. First and third, nobody out. Julio Franco will be at the plate. Looks like we might finish this game. That's good.
I think so. In a National League East city, and I think it's worth really reviewing the first half of the season about the National League East, because the Pittsburgh Pirates are in first place. Now, a lot of people think the Pirates are a little thin. They have a terrific outfield, a bullpen that they're really not sure about. Bill Landrum continuing to do a good job, but the New York Mets very hot, Montreal hanging tough.
And the Montreal ball club has shown a lot this year with Buck Rogers, their manager. They're only 3.5 out, 10 games over 500. Philadelphia played very well early on. Now they're under 500, and that 500 mark is always the demarcation point. And look at the Cubs and the Cardinals, 15 games off the pace. But it looks like those top 3, Pittsburgh, New York, and Montreal, are going to battle it out. And Tim, the Mets have played fewer games than most of the others in that division, and it's a good thing for them. They have all of those starting pitchers to choose from, because they're going to put a heavy burden on that pitching staff before this season comes to a close.
6 starting pitchers, as a matter of fact. I think had the lockout not occurred this year, that Frank Cashin probably would have made a trade. Frank, the general manager of the Mets, and traded one of the starting pitchers. But with the lockout, they've needed all of their starting pitchers, and they have great short relief from John Franco.
Some of you folks will see the Pirates in action next Saturday here on CBS, and note the spirit and the drive they have with their manager Jim Leland leading the way. There's Julio Franco. He'll be at the plate with men at first and third, nobody out, and he'll tell us the story. Now, earlier we looked at the American League West, and now there we have another look at Oakland and Chicago. Seattle hanging tough. And then in the American League East, well, you get some varying opinions. Boston was hot, they cooled off. Toronto was cool, and they got well again. And look at Cleveland. Cleveland with that good pitching, and to me, the most surprising team in the entire division is Detroit.
I think so, too. I think the most surprising pitcher is Mike Boddicker, who has won 10 in a row for the Boston Red Sox. He and Roger Clemens, it used to be Spahn and Sane and Pray for Rain in Boston. Now it's Clemens and Boddicker.
Tony La Russa, he is tough to beat. He's been there, and he's won the division the last couple of times and the World Series last year in his ball club. When we ran into him up in Toronto more than a week ago, you could tell just by visiting with him that he was very confident of winning. In fact, he talked about whoever wins it has to win 100 games, and he was kind of saying, we can do it. The question is, can the White Sox win 100 games?
Well, a lot of people think that the White Sox are going to crumble in the second half because they're not deep enough. Well, a lot of people didn't expect them to be 18 games over 500 at this point of the season either.
And we run into American League experts, and some say Toronto's still going to do it. Others think Boston might have enough pitching with Boddicker leading the way to win that division.
And in the National League West, Roger Craig said that if we can stay 8 games behind the Cincinnati Reds and at the All-Star break, which is where they are, winning the doubleheader against the Cubs the other day, they're 8 games behind the Reds and certainly within range.
He said that specifically. He said if we can win 2 Sunday from Chicago, and then they went ahead and did it, why, we'll be trouble for Cincinnati. Greg Gumbel has some more action for us down below here at Wrigley Field. Greg?
All right, Jack, Tim, thank you very much. With me is Giant first baseman Will Clark. How tough is it out there under these conditions?
It was pretty tough, especially when the rain was rolling right along. I know if you looked up for a pop-up, you lost track of the ball because the raindrops were hitting you in the face, but also when you were up at the plate, you know, the water was dripping off your helmet, so it was a little tough. Field started getting wet, and I think they did a good job of making the call to halt it.
I mentioned to one of the other guys, in an all-star game, there is no such thing as biding your time and waiting for a weak pitcher to come out of the bullpen, is there?
No, not at all. As you can see by the amount of hits that we got rolling right now, American League's done a real good job. The guys that they coming in throwing are throwing them the hell out the ball, and you know, we got to go out there and do a little better job.
Tell me a favor. Set this whole thing to rest. What's the most asked question that you've been asked since you've been here in Chicago?
Oh, the old Jose Canseco deal. You know, it's over and done with. It's water under the bridge. I think a lot of the things were said in jest and got really blown out of proportion, so it's over and done with.
You didn't answer my question. How many times were you asked?
At least 1,000.
1,001.
Yeah, you got it.
Will Clark of the San Francisco Giants. We'll take a timeout and come right back with more from Wrigley Field in just a moment.
Yeah, with me. I lost her at the end of last season, and I think I'd feel much better if she was here watching me, but I know that she's in heaven and looking over me. So, you know, I'm happy just to be here, and only a few guys get to make it, so I got to have a smile on my face.
All right, Kirby Puckett having a good time here in Chicago. Pat O'Brien has a special guest, National League President Bill White. Let's go over to Pat O'Brien.
All right, Jim, thank you very much. And you played in, we were trying to count, is it 6 or 7 All-Stars?
Pat, I really don't know. I couldn't have been too many, though, with guys like McCovey and Cepeda around, but we did play some of them.
Did you ever have a rain delay?
We had a rain delay in Boston in 1961, I believe. The game ended...
Scoreless game?
Scoreless? No. The game ended up 1-1. Colavito had a home run for the American League, and that, I think, is the only game in All-Star history that ended in a tie.
This is your second year as president of the National League. You're hosting this, and they rained on your parade.
Oh, it did that. Of course, every time I come to Chicago, it rains. We were here for their opening day this year, and that game was rained out, so we bring rain to Chicago. But I think this one will be finished.
You got any stories about Tim McCarver you can tell that we can put on the air?
I think Bob Gibson told one the other day about Timmy, but no, Tim was excellent catcher on that Cardinal team in 1964. Got a big base hit at Yankee Stadium, hit a home run that I think that was game 4 or 5. We won that thing, but Timmy, excellent catcher. We called him Giga. You know, Gig'em. The ball hits it and bounces out of the glove all the time. Is he up there listening?
Yeah, we're going to go back to Gig'em.
That's a bad shot.
Boy, I'll tell you, he didn't think I was listening, like it never would have gotten back to me. What Gig'em was, that's what the frog makes, and when the ball drops out of the glove. As a matter of fact, Bill Dickey had given me my first mitt in 1959, and I used that the full season in 1963, and I think I had about 12 or 13 pass balls, and I got rid of it after the year.
Speaking of Bill White and all-star games, there was one year when the entire infield of the St. Louis Cardinals started in the all-star game. There was Ken Boyer, Dick Groat, Julian Javier, and Bill White. And it wasn't a matter of ballot stuffing, because they were very worthy players as starters in 1963 in the All-Star game. It's only going to take a few more minutes to get ready for the resumption of play here in the All-Star game. And let's go back downstairs and visit with Greg Olson.
Yes, the Greg Olson, not with the Baltimore Birds, but the Atlanta Braves. And it doesn't matter how much it has rained here or how bad the weather was. You said you're just having a great time.
I really am. You know, we went down in the clubhouse, and not too often you get a chance to sit around Will Clark and Frankie Viola, Darryl Strawberry, Tony Gwynn. Listen to what they have to say, and it was a lot of fun for me.
Yours is perhaps the most intriguing of all of the all-star stories here. What, age 29, 10 years in the minors, is that right?
Well, actually, just 7.5, but I'm a rookie and 29 years old. I got a lot of breaks this year, and you know, it's just a great time to be here, and I never would have thought it. It's been a fairy tale season, and I'm just having a lot of fun.
Greg Olson, welcome to the All-Star game.
Thank you so much.
We are ready to play baseball. We'll take a timeout and come back to Chicago after this. We're about to remove the rain delay from beneath that scoreboard. We are scoreless in the top of the 7th inning, and Nails is getting ready. In fact, most of the other ball players are out on the field loosening up as the grounds crew spreads a little sand and dries out the diamond and gets it ready for play. And ready is the key word there, because in the entertainment field, all of us at CBS are truly anticipatory of the fall season, and in fact we are getting ready for the fall. We're very pleased to welcome you back to Wrigley Field in Chicago for the continuation of the 61st Major League All-Star Baseball game. Hello once again, everyone. I'm Greg Gumbel. I said that about 4 hours ago, and we are ready to continue with the top of the 7th inning here at Wrigley Field. For more, let's take you back upstairs to my colleagues Jack Buck and Tim McCarver.
And the first thing we have to tell you is that Jeff Brantley has left. He was going out there, and both Tim and I were surprised that he was going to resume with runners at first and third and nobody out. He started to warm up, and then Roger Craig came out when Brantley beckoned him. He talked to the umpire. Now there's going to be a different pitcher, but more than that, a little concern about what appeared to be a hip injury. Huh?
It appeared to be the left hip, as Rob Dibble now, the last right-hander for Roger Craig, and the 7th pitcher. And here we're only in the 7th inning of still a scoreless ball game. Dibble with 75 strikeouts on the season. And what a ratio of strikeouts.
I'm chuckling because this Dibble drive a cameraman crazy. He jumps right out of your picture when he throws the ball. Well, there have been some good moments in this game. Jose Canseco hasn't had a hit. He's 0 for 2 with a walk and a stolen base, but that hasn't stopped him from getting his swings. Little wonder he hits the ball so far when he connects. We had a good play against Kevin Mitchell.
That was the play that Wade Boggs, who is noted for his hitting. He is not noted, however, for his glove, but in the 4th inning makes a fine play, staying down on the ball and getting Mitchell a throw inside the first base line, but the tag made by Mark McGuire.
And we had some fun earlier in the game when Lenny Dykstra thought he was going to catch a fly ball. He was chasing Barry Bonds away, and hello. The big guy always beats the little guy. Well, not always. And Lenny had to make a tough play. Bases loaded, 2 out.
Bases loaded and 2 outs in the 6th inning when all the rain started coming down, and it's very, very difficult. That is not a routine play, and you can see with Lenny, rain falling in his eyes, but he made the catch for the 3rd out.
There's Don Zimmerman. He's in a familiar spot, peering out of that dugout. Popeye, they call him. Has a new contract with the Cubs, and there's Rob Dibble, and one of the reasons Craig is happy to have him in there, Dibble and the National League need some strikeouts in this situation when we resume. Top of the 7th, no score. American League with the biggest threat, 1st and 3rd, and nobody out. They tell me. And there is Roger Craig in the dugout. He's gone through some pitchers. Jack Armstrong, Ramon Martinez, Dennis Martinez, Frank Viola, Dave Smith, Jeff Brantley, and now Rob Dibble. But he knows what he's doing. He'll have things covered for the end of the game, and we hope that Brantley has not suffered a serious injury, and now the other players take the field, and very shortly we'll have a pitch thrown in anger here at Wrigley Field. I think there's a kind of a whammy on this field because of these new lights, relatively new. Their first scheduled night game under the lights, postponed because of rain. This year, their opening game under the lights, postponed because of rain. Now we get the All-Star game, and look what we've had to put up with.
The 6th All-Star game being played in Chicago, and the 3rd here at Wrigley Field.
Well, we put the computer to work to get this lineup back together. Ozzie Guillen, Kelly Gruber, Canseco's played the entire game. George Bell has been in there. Ken Griffey's played the entire game. Cecil Fielder in the lineup, and then Sandy Alomari's caught the entire game. Parrish, who has a hit in this game, is a pinch hitter, and then Julio Franco will be batting now as we go back to work.
Well, defensively now, Barry Bonds is in left field. He entered the game in the 5th inning. Len Dykstra has played the whole game. Darryl Strawberry entered the game, spelling Andre Dawson. Tim Wallach came in for Chris Sabo. Sean Dunston is the 3rd National League shortstop. Ozzie Smith started, and then Barry Larkin played. Roberto Alomar in there for Ryan Sandberg. Will Clark, the only first baseman on the National League roster, has to play the whole game unless a guy like Bobby Bonilla goes to first base. Mike Sosa still catching, and Rob Dibble. This should be a great battle right here, as Roger Craig is going to play the infield in.
The runner at 3rd base is Sandy Alomar. He started the inning with a base knock, and across the diamond it is Lance Parrish. He got the pinch single to set it up, 1st and 3rd, nobody out, and Roger Craig figures that 1 run might win this one, so he's playing the infield not all the way in at 2nd and short, but pretty well into the point where they'd have a play on Alomar. Here we go with Dibble. You'll see some fire here. No score, 7th inning. And a strike, a blistering fastball from Dibble.
I don't think with Franco's bat at the angle that it is that there is any way for him to pull a ball off Rob Dibble, and for that reason Len Dykstra in center field, moving over into right center.
Franco is 0 for 1 in the game, batting .292 on the season. And a foul ball out of play. That's what you're talking about, Tim. He didn't get around on the smoke, and that's strike 2. We had a 1 hour and 8-minute rain delay here at Wrigley Field. And we hope we kept you folks entertained well enough. And now Socia goes out. He wants this strikeout badly, so they'll be able to play the infield all the way back and hope for the double play ball. Frank. I don't know what the score will be, but at the end of this top half of the 7th inning, Harry Carey is going to lead the crowd in the singing of Take Me Out to the Ballgame. That's always fun here at Wrigley Field. Meanwhile, a base hit puts the American League on top. It goes deep, and the 2nd run might also score. Harry's not a good runner, but he is going to be able to dent the plate, and it's 2-0 in favor of the American League as Franco came through on an 0-2 count.
When you add up all the elements, there is no way for Julio Franco to pull a ball off a guy like Dibble, who throws so hard. But Dibble makes the mistake of finding too much of the plate, and Franco rifles one into right center. Strawberry misses the first cutoff man. He does find Sean Dunston, but Parrish ends up walking home. See how far Franco has to go with that bat to come back. That loop in his swing, a mistake by Dibble.
Now Ozzie Guillen up the middle advances the runner as the play is to first by Roberto Alomar. Now the American League could get that third run home. And they do, even though they've just gathered, have a squeeze play signed. Tony La Russa told me before this game started. But a good at bat by Ozzie Guillen after Ricky Henderson batting in that position was 0 for 3.
Now, Tony may use a squeeze sign, but if I'm Kelly Gruber with 20 home runs on the year, I don't want any squeeze sign in my first at bat of the All-Star game.
Ooh, in on Kelly Gruber in his first at bat. 296 average, 20 home runs, 66 runs batted in.
Kelly's probably thinking, I didn't come from Toronto to bunt.
No. The runner at third base is Franco. And besides, it's tough to bunt Dibble. There is one out, and a chopper foul off the plate evens the count, 1-1. American League on top now, 2-0 here in the top of the 7th inning. And La Russa still has a flock of pitchers available to him. Dibble let Franco get off the hook. 1-1 to Gruber. And low and away. Nice piece of hitting by Franco after that long delay of more than an hour and 8 minutes. Even though he had 2 strikes, he got the job done. Now he's at third with 1 out. Two and two. They had a clock on him, Tim, on Dibble on some of his pitches in this inning.
The second pitch to Julio Franco, Dibble threw 99 miles an hour. 230 pounds, 6'3".
He's a part of this story now. He gave up the hit. The runs charged to Brantley. The count 3-2 on Gruber.
Dibble mostly a setup man for Randy Myers. How many times does a reliever as a setup man get into an all-star game?
Now Gruber, it's a foul. And by the way, 2 genuine relief pitchers from the same club, and that's a rarity.
Certainly is. Randy Myers and Rob Dibble and Jack Armstrong, who started this game. 14 strikeouts per 9 innings. 75 strikeouts in 48 1/3 innings.
3-2 to Gruber. And he walked him. So the American League could keep this inning going. Now you've got something coming up. There's Tony La Russa. His club is broken on top here in the 7th, 2-0. And guess who Dibble's pitching against? Jose Canseco. Want to watch some power pitching and power swinging? We'll have it here. Canseco 0 for 2 with a walk and a stolen base. First and third with 1 out. National League looking for the double play, so Gruber runs and no throw, a stolen base as Socha dropped the ball. Well, that takes care of the double play. Now let's see if they walk Canseco again.
Well, the funny thing, as Gruber steals a base, certainly the turf here at Wrigley Field is not the best running conditions.
Ball on the count. Second and third, 1 out. And a fly ball might drop. No, it carries out to the right fielder. A tag and a throw by Strawberry at the plate. He is out on the most exciting play of the All-Star game. And it ends the inning. A great throw by Strawberry. And Socha's one of the best at making the tag. 2 runs, 3 hits, and 1 man left. Some throw.
An exceptionally strong throw because Strawberry puts himself in a position to throw. Mike Socha is the best in the business at blocking the plate, and that's exactly what he does, stopping Julio Franco.
He hasn't touched the plate yet.
If he did, he knocked his foot away. Socia is the best in the business at that particular play, and the throw coming in from the right side is the toughest for a catcher because you don't know where the runner is.
Harry Carey. Here at Wrigley Field, Chicago, no matter which team is playing the Chicago Cubs, and even though it's late here in this Midwestern city, about 10 minutes past 11 o'clock, enthusiasm still holds forth on the part of these baseball fans who have welcomed the baseball world to their ballpark.
It's official. Harry Carey has sung "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." Bobby Thigpen, the South Sider, is in relief. Brett Saberhagen. Saberhagen could stand to win this ball game if Thigpen et al. can hold the lead. Thigpen leads the major leagues in saves with 27.
And Saberhagen, 2 perfect innings with 1 strikeout, and Thigpen is only the 4th pitcher used by Tony La Russa this evening. Thigpen Tower, Thigpen Power. The American League in good shape, leading 2-0, and the breeze still, well, has changed around a little bit, blowing in towards center, toward home plate.
By the way, that stolen base by Kelly Gruber, the American League's 4th stolen base, that ties an all-star record, and Lance Parrish is now the catcher. So Parrish and Thigpen, the new battery.
But don't discount these National League hitters, starting with Will Clark.
Bobby Thigpen's teammate at Mississippi State.
And they battle one another. Clark is 1 for 2 in this game. And ball 1. Bottom of the 7th. 2-0, the American League. There's a strike as he keeps it away from the left-handed batter.
In college, Thigpen hit behind Will Clark. Clark hit 4th, Thigpen 5th at Mississippi State. Rafael Palmeiro is a 3-hole hitter. And as we said earlier, Jeff Brantley, who was in this game earlier, and we'll try to get a report on Brantley and the condition of Jeff.
Thigpen, 2 balls and a strike, and makes it 3-1. This pitcher is from St. Petersburg, Florida. Chatting with him the other day, lives very near the dog track down there, Derby Lane, which we frequent during spring training. Will Clark trying to get on base for the 2nd time. Thrilling play into the top of the 7th, and now Clark hits it on the ground to Ozigian. Wide, but out at first base to start the bottom of the 7th.
Ozigian, long noted for his glove in the American League, is hitting .330 this year. Product of Walt Reniak. He can pick it.
12 in a row have been retired by American League pitchers now. Ozigian throws out Will Clark, and Tim Wallach bats for the first time this evening. And a little bouncer the pitcher has to cover. And does for the 2nd out as he took the throw from Fielder. That's 13 National Leaguers in a row set down. What's Pat O'Brien doing here in the 7th inning?
Jack, I'm with Harry Carey, and Harry, you sound pretty good.
Why not? Why not? Hey, Jack and Tim, how you doing? You should be up here with me in the announcer's booth with my good friend Wayne Messmer.
Let me ask you this. What does it mean to Chicago to have the All-Star game right here in your Wrigley Field?
Oh, it's great. It's, well, look at this ballpark. Look at these people, greatest fans in the world. And if you're going to play an all-star game in an intimate ballpark where everybody's your friend almost, you can tell the expression on everybody's face. This would be it. Look where Canseco hit one yesterday. 455 feet.
Harry could talk about baseball all day here. We're going to throw it back to Jack. Yeah, thanks, Harry.
Good to see you, Pat.
Darryl Strawberry is up with a 1-1 count, 2 out, and unfortunately for the National League, nobody on base as they trail 2-0 in the bottom of the 7th. Foul ball puts Strawberry in the hole. 1-2. What a resurgence Darryl has had this season.
In his last 100 at-bats, he's hitting .394 with 13 home runs. He has been the main reason the Mets have surged.
Big Ben has him set up. Got him. 14 National Leaguers in a row have been retired. Now we have played 7 innings. And the American League's on to the 8th inning, and you can never count on a victory here in Wrigley Field until it's nailed down. This is Randy Myers, who is the 8th National League pitcher of the night. The new first baseman is Bobby Bonilla, with Will Clark out of the game at the moment. And there's Bobby. He brought the first baseman's glove. He knew this figured in the plans. The leadoff batter is George Bell. Bell is 0 for 1 with a strikeout in this game. The American League tries to get more. 1-1 the count. On deck, it's Kirby Puckett. We'll have fun watching him. American League sitting pretty at the moment, 2-0, top of the 8th. And we're sitting pretty now weather-wise. No more rain. Bell hits it high in the air for Strawberry. Ball carrying a little bit differently now. There's 1 out. You know, we're looking at Randy Myers. He used to be with the Mets. John Franco is now with the Mets. Used to be with Cincinnati.
Last year, Randy Myers had a mustache. Now he doesn't, but this year, John Franco has the mustache. So that is nice going, guys. That's great. That is genuinely trading places.
I wonder if those two did that on purpose.
How about that? They were traded for one another, and here they are in the All-Star game together.
Batting is Kirby Puckett. There's a strike from Randy Myers. Myers has 17 saves, and look at those figures. A typical Kirby Puckett year, and for a while he was the highest paid player in baseball, but not long. Pops it up foul, and it comes back and out of play.
Kirby Puckett was the highest paid player in baseball for about 24 hours last winter. As a matter of fact, the highest paid player changed 9 times last year. American League's leading hitter last year, and only the second right-handed hitter since 1970, second right-handed hitter to lead the American League in hitting.
Myers is throwing 90 miles an hour. He's ahead on the count. Ball 1, 1-2.
Free swinging Kirby Puckett. Not up there to walk, especially in his hometown.
Gets a base hit. When you can hit, you can hit. Oh, the ball got past Strawberry. And Puckett with 1 out is going to end up at third base, and that's important. Strawberry gets the ball back in. Probably a single and an error. And the fans here get after Strawberry. They don't like any of the Met players, not just Darryl.
Well, they were cheering Darryl in the 6th inning, or in the 7th inning, because he made the throw home. They were booing him yesterday. This ball gets by Strawberry. It hasn't been scored. It is a hit and an error, a single and an error on Darryl Strawberry.
Puckett's a good mutter. He shoots around to third base with 1 out. The infield has to come in. And here's ball 1 to Cecil Fielder, who is batting for the 2nd time this evening. Flied out to center his first time. So a base hit by Puckett. 2-0. The American League already leading. And the count goes to ball 2. Fielder takes ball 3. It was a single and an error charged to Strawberry, and that was the first error of the evening. And you can bet your bottom dollar that Cecil is going to be swinging on 3-0, and Myers knows that. But he took ball 4. There have been 2, 4, 5. That's the 6th walk given to the American League to go with their 7 hits. And we have a pinch hitter with men at first and third with 1 out. There's Roger Craig trying to figure out how to stop this American League attack. Alan Trammell is the pinch hitter. This is the first at bat for the Detroit Tigers shortstop. Batting here in the 8th inning.
Mentioned through the 80s, you talk about the gifted shortstops in the American League. Cal Ripken Jr., Robin Yount when he played there for the Brewers, and Alan Trammell. Trammell the MVP in 1984. Robin Yount the MVP in 1982 as a shortstop.
National League wants the double play ball. Trammell wants at least the fly ball. There's a strike from Myers.
As a matter of fact, Cal Ripken Jr. sandwiched in between there in 1983. So it was Yount, Ripken, and Trammell. 3 consecutive MVP shortstops in the American League, 82, 3, and 4.
It's been a strong position. First and third, 1 out. Trammell hits a pop fly for the second baseman, Alomar. 2 out as Roberto takes it down. Now the National League can keep the deficit to 2 runs. Here's a fellow who played a big part in the run scoring. It was a base hit by Sandy Alomar in the top of the 7th, a pinch hit by this batter, Lance Parrish, and a 2-run single by Franco in the 7th. First and third, 2 out, and a strike.
Parrish has made it clear that he loves the American League. He signed as a free agent with the Philadelphia Phillies, played over there for 2 years, was unsuccessful in the National League, back in the American League, and here another all-star assignment.
Count goes to strike 2 on Parrish. The base hit by Franco that drove in the runs was a double, 2-run double. And he subsequently was thrown out at the plate to end the 7th. And now the American League with a 2-out threat in the 8th. Pop fly foul near the stands and tantalizingly out of reach, only 2 rows back. Bobby Bonilla couldn't get close enough. So Parrish has another chance to add to the 2-0 lead here in the 8th inning.
That foul ball perilously close to the commissioner's seat. If you remember in last year's World Series in Game 4, Will Clark toppling over the railing and into the lap of Commissioner Fay Vincent. The commissioner, yeah, he's going to sign the ball. All right.
The American League has already left 7 and hit into 2 double plays. But they lead 2-0 in the 8th. Parrish gets this ball up in the air. It'll ride out, but the pitch is in the air for ball 1. Over at third base, running the bases, it is Kirby Puckett. And on at first, Cecil Fielder. And Lance Parrish, the batter. 1-2 the count. A late swing and a foul by Parrish, who just stays up there with that foul ball. The American League has out-hit the National League 7-1.
Fastball on the outside corner off the mask of Socia, the glove in the mask.
And another foul. Now the wind has changed, and this is the way the hitters had been hoping it would be blowing all night. It's blowing out toward left and into left center. And when we started the game, it was blowing toward the right field foul line. might have affected the hitting early. But for the most part, it's been an overpowering American League pitching staff. 1-2 to Parrish, and another foul. First and third, 2 out, 2-0. The American League on top. We're in the visitors' half of the 8th inning. Scioscia's caught the entire game. Randy Myers throws high and away, 2-2. Myers reaches down to get a little dry sand for his pitching hand. He is the 8th National League pitcher tonight. And ball 3. Now the runner will go from first. That's Fielder. And Bobby Bonilla is now going to drop behind him. Three and 2, and Fielder will go with the pitch with 2 out. He walked him, and the bases are loaded. First base umpire said he did not swing. So Julio Franco comes up with the bases loaded, 2 out.
Well, the last time Julio was the batter, it was 1st and 3rd and nobody out. Rob Dibble on the mound in relief of Jeff Brantley, an 0-2 fastball away. And predictably, Franco hits it to right field. Not something you could really call a mistake by Dibble, I don't suppose. A little bit too much of the plate, but you got to give credit to Franco. Good piece of hitting.
Well, he's driven in 2. He'd like to get some more. Bases loaded, 2 out. There have been 7 walks handed out by the National League hurlers. Myers just missed with that one. Third base, it is Puckett. Down at second base, Fielder. And the runner at first is Parrish. And the batter, Julio Franco. Ball 2. Scioscia to the mound of Myers, who's walked 2 and given up a base hit to Puckett in this inning. American League hasn't scored here in the 8th, but they have this base-loaded 2-out opportunity.
With Dibble pitching, the outfield was shaded around toward right center, and Len Dykstra, even though a left-hander's out there now, is still around toward right center.
Franco on 2-0. Took a strike, 2-1.
Sometimes the velocity of a pitcher determines how you play the hitter. And because Myers throws so hard, the outfield, a tendency to shift around toward the right part of the outfield.
Franco could blow this game wide open. He flies it into right, and Strawberry has a beat on it, and the inning is over. And now the American League has left 10, but they lead 2-0 in the bottom of the 8th. Getting late for the National League as we look down from the Goodyear blimp. National League has only 1 hit, and that was a first-inning single by Will Clark. Goodyear people with a long evening up in the rain clouds. We appreciate the pictures they have sent down to us. We have a new pitcher. It's Chuck Findlay. He's the Angels' top winner, and he leads the American League in earned run average, 2.54, and a record of 11-4. Pretty good man to protect the lead, Tim.
His first All-Star appearance, he made last year's team, but he didn't appear.
And here batting for the first time is Bobby Bonilla. Gruber with the play to the left, and he throws him out. You know, that's 15 National League batters in a row who have been retired.
The American League pitching has just dominated tonight. You saw Wallach a while ago get ready to field a ground ball, and now it's Kelly Gruber. The National League really, I mean, this offense hasn't hit a lot of balls hard tonight.
Here is Greg Olson, and Tim McCarver and I agreed before the game that this fellow is probably the most bubbly of all the All-Stars who are here. He is the one most impressed. He's had a tough career again getting to the big leagues. He was a 6-year minor league free agent, and now the Atlanta Braves are reaping the benefits of his production. And he's hit 6 home runs, driven in 25 runs, batting .289, and he's done the job behind the plate for them.
He missed the first 6 days of the season. Ernie Witt, John Russell were the catchers. Russell was released, and then the Braves drafted Phil Lombardi from the Mets.
Strike to the count.
Lombardi quit, and they called Greg Olson back up, so they really went through 4 catchers before they got to Olson. Here he is now. He's an all-star. It's a great story.
And they also had Jody Davis down there with Atlanta at the start of the year. Olson in the hole, however, and he strikes out as Findlay turned the ball over and gets his first strikeout, and that's 16 in a row set down by American League hurlers.
Talking to American League hitters, they say that Chuck Findlay has as wicked a split finger fastball as any pitcher in the American League. And that's what Olson went down on. I mean, that was a hard, vicious. I mean, that was a downer. Findlay 6'6", 212.
Tony La Russa can afford to look a bit smug now. 2 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. American League leading 2-0.
Here's that pitch once again to Greg Olson with a count 1-2. Watch this ball go down. Wow.
Oof. Here is Barry Bonds trying to figure out this hurler. 2 balls, no strikes the count with 2 out. A wonderful season for Barry Bonds, and his dad is here, Bobby. And this is the first at bat for Bonds. Or the second at bat. He's 0 for 1. Fly to right his first time, and that's ball 3. There are 2 out. 16 in a row have been set down. Finley pumps a strike in there. This season of his, 11-4, no accident. He was 16-9 last year. He is 6'6", weighs 212. He can bring it. And he throws it low and walks Bonds and opens the door a little bit with 2 out here in the 8th. And guess who's up? One of the Cubbies. There's Tony La Russa. Not quite so comfortable now as he was a moment ago as Dunston stands in, and the wind is blowing out toward left, and Dunston could tie this. Oh, that'd be wonderful, wouldn't it, to tie it and have some extra innings here tonight?
I don't know if the National League pitching staff would hold out. They only have 2 more pitchers left after Randy Myers.
Runner at first. Bonds a good base stealer. Ball 1. Well, he probably won't be gambling with 2 men out and his club 2 runs behind. He has stolen 24 bases.
Yeah, but no way he runs right here. You got to let him hit.
The initials on the back of the helmet of Sean Dunston are the first initials of his 2 daughters. I've chatted with Sean about his family, and he is really thrilled with the life that he is leading right now. Runner at first, 2 out. 1 to the shortstop, Guillen. Force out, and the inning is over, and still the National League has only 1 hit, and they still trail 2-0. Well, coming up on midnight in Chicago, the Mercury carries a 2-0 lead into the 9th inning, and here are some of the highlights. After the 1 hour and 8-minute rain delay, Julio Franco doubled home the only 2 runs of this game, and Darryl Strawberry prevented further scoring as he threw a man out at the plate to end the 7th inning. A great tag by Mike Scioscia. Now we have a new pitcher for the National League, and it's John Franco, and this is a record, folks. This is the 9th National League pitcher used in this game this evening, and Greg Olson takes over behind the plate.
We showed you the trading places. Greg Olson now trading places with Mike Scioscia, who started the game. John Franco in relief of Randy Myers, for whom he was traded last winter.
Isaac Guillen, 0 for 1, is going to be 0 for 2. Roberto Alomar throws him out here to start the 9th inning.
You know what Roger Craig has really done? He has used 9 pitchers, and he is saving Neil Heaton in case the National League ties it in the bottom of the 9th. The reason for that, Heaton's last start was July 4th, 6 days ago. So Roger, if the National League ties it in the 9th, Neil Heaton will just be a starting pitcher.
And he might pitch for a long time the way Runs have been hard to come by here tonight. This is Kelly Gruber. Gruber has a walk and a stolen base, and Dennis Eckersley is warming up in the bullpen. How much better shape can the American League be in? They have out-hit the National League 7-1. National League has made the game's only error. No, the visitors have been unkind here tonight. One out in the top of the ninth. Franco's pitch is fouled away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Franco has hit his stride here in the 1990 season. He is 4-0. Earned run average of less than 2 and 17 saves. So Gruber has his hands full trying to hit this lefty. Both managers have done a fine job of getting a lot of players into the game, which is what the fans enjoy. The ball shot through the legs of Olson. Olson says, "No wonder I can't hit him. I can't catch him." 2-2 the count. The umpire says, "Please try to catch those." 2-2. And that's foul just outside first. John Dunston, a creature of habit down there at the shortstop position when the pitcher gets ready to throw the ball.
He almost lines up his position. Sean lining up first base. That's to remind him where it is, I guess.
3-2 the count.
I'll tell you, with his arm, he doesn't need to line it up.
He always reminds himself where he's going to throw the ball. 3-2. Shot at the center fielder, Dykstra. 2 out.
Also talked about the University of Michigan with Larkin and Sabo. Well, John Franco and Viola, Frank Viola, both attending St. John's, right near Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York.
And a lot of people from the New York City area, including those 2 you just mentioned, Bobby Bonilla and Sean Dunston. Canseco, he's had a walk. He is 0 for 3. Ball 1 from John Franco.
See, Franco has to keep the ball down to Canseco to be effective, and I think this is a dangerous hitter for Franco right here. Canseco has not looked good tonight.
Foul tip that went into the glove of Olson. 1-1. You know, we might see more of this fall with Canseco at the plate and Franco on the mound. A lot of things have to happen for that to come about. Ball 2. You can see Olson having difficulty catching Franco, and some kids and some older folks waiting for Canseco to loft one out in their area.
I think this is the best chance tonight that they have to get a ball over the fence or into the street. Low ball pitcher, low ball hitter.
And in the dirt, not that low. 3-1. With 2 out in the top of the ninth. We'll see what Franco's approach is on a 3-1 pitch. Nope, that's going to be caught by the left fielder, Barry Bonds. Always catches the ball in that fashion. John Franco has a 1-2-3 inning, bottom of the ninth. 2-0 the American League. Bottom of the ninth is where we are, but where is Pat O'Brien?
All right, Jack, thank you. We are in the catacombs at Wrigley to talk about the lights at Wrigley. You know the story. They didn't have lights here for 74 years. Last 2 seasons they've had lights. Kind of controversial. We're cleared to go in here. You've seen the lights, I know, but I want to show you something I bet you haven't seen. These, my friends, are the switches that turn on the lights that ended exclusive daytime baseball at Wrigley. And all the traditionalists, I bet, would love to come and turn these off. You know, I lived in Chicago for several years, and I have a lot of friends here who would love to have me switch one of these off. I'll think about it.
You wouldn't.
That's a switch.
Yeah, that's a switch. That's a loose cannon. Pat O'Brien, he's a grenade with a pin bolt, and he's found the light switch. Let's hope. Here he strains himself. The new pitcher is Dennis Eckersley. What better man for La Russa to run out there with a 2-1 record, 25 saves, and Dykstra leading it off in the bottom of the ninth. That's ball one. Dykstra can work you for a walk, but Eckersley doesn't do that very often.
2 walks in 36 1/3 innings this year. 2.
Lenny Dykstra leading it off here in the bottom of the ninth. And there's a strike. It's 1-1. Roberto Alomar will follow. So the National League has to get a runner on base to have a chance. 1-1, ball 2. Lenny Dykstra leading the National League and the major leagues in hitting with a 360 mark. He was over 400 for a long time in the early part of the season.
462 on base percentage too. Leads the majors.
From Eckersley. 2-2. Now he'll have to start swinging. Two and two to Lenny Dykstra. 3 times he has flied out. And a foul ball keeps Dykstra up there. All-Star game history, we've had some low-hit games, but here the National League has had only 1 hit. And there's a hit. So Dykstra adds some excitement to the game with a leadoff single here in the 9th inning. He is on base for the first time. Leave it to him. He does what he has to do.
Ball down and in, and Dykstra rifles it back up the middle. Only the 2nd hit for the National League, and by far the hardest hit ball. Remember, once again, the National League has 1 pitcher left, and he's warming in the bullpen now, and that's Neil Heaton.
Dykstra runs the bases, but they're going to play behind him down there. They don't expect him to run, but he's a daring sort. His fielder plays behind him. Roberto Alomar, he's a switch hitter, and there's strike 1. Neil Heaton warming up. He of the Pirates enjoying a banner season. And a fly ball into center field, and Puckett's on the move, and that's the first out of the 9th inning. Alomar made a good bid for a base hit, but Puckett grabbed it. And here comes a home run threat. Matt Williams is going to be the batter, and Parrish goes out to talk with his pitcher, and the shortstop comes in. They want to make certain of their approach.
How about this for a setting? What a fine young third baseman Matt Williams is. We've talked about it before. Babe Ruth with the first All-Star home run in Comiskey Park, and Matt Williams not only has 17 home runs, but does a remarkable impersonation of Babe Ruth. Remarkable.
He'll be pumping. The wind might help him. We're in the bottom of the 9th. Tying run at the plate. 2-0, the American League on top. The American League would like the double play to end this game. Eckersley, and now they're holding against Dykstra. And ball 1 to Williams. They'd like to get him on him breaking stuff. He's a dead fastball hitter. 17 home runs, 69 runs batted in, leading the National League in runs batted in. Chopper foul. The coordinating producer of Major League Baseball on CBS is Rick LaCivita. And this evening's telecast directed by Joe Assetti. Pre-game show produced by Ed Gorin. The senior producer of CBS Sports is David Winner. The executive producer of CBS Sports is Ted Shaker. 1-1 to Matt Williams of the Giants. A little bit low, and that's ball 2, 2-1 from Eckersley. Williams was in the home run hitting contest yesterday. Eckersley used to pitch for the Cubs, so he's familiar with this Wrigley Field setting. 2-0. The Americans on top. 1 on, 1 out. 2-2 now.
He had his pitch right here, that unusual style. A lot of hitters trigger their swing. Matt Williams triggers his whole body. It's that little rock, hits off his backside. He just came up empty with that one.
2-2, and foul ball keeps him up there. Matt Williams with one swing could tie this affair.
Similar career in the first 2 years, as you see Doug Jones from Cleveland, Randy Johnson, the left-hander from Seattle. Matt Williams, a similar career. Mike Schmidt.
Tag on the inside corner. That's the second out of the inning.
I tell you, I'm surprised Eckersley came right back in there, but look where Lance Parrish, the catcher, is. Inside corner, and that's where they get him. Usually in a home run situation, you've got a power hitter up there. If you're going to make a mistake, you make it away. But Eckersley, bold and brash here at Wrigley, threw the fastball in the inside corner.
Last hope, Tim Wallach. Strike one from Dennis Eckersley. Wallach is 0 for 1. It's not beyond him to tie this game. Dykstra at first, 2 out, and that's strike 2 in the American League, within 1 strike of a 2-0 shutout. Wallach has a great batting mark career-wise against Eckersley. 12 out of 34 with a home run. And a foul ball, and Parrish is back at the screen, but nothing doing. That's how close this game came to ending right there. Oh, 2. You're in a bad spot when Eckersley backs you up 0-2. Eckersley is only the 6th pitcher for the American League and Tony La Russa. Wallach with an 0-2 count, 2 out, bottom of the 9th. Runner at first, Dykstra, 2-0 American League. And a high pop fly stays in play for Fielder. And that's the way this one ends, and the National League is blanked on only 2 base hits. And they only left 4, so they didn't have that many chances. Tim?
Only 2 hits for the and the National League didn't hit an awful lot of balls hard. The last hit in the 9th inning by Len Dykstra, the only ball really they hit hard.
We're going to have the naming of our most valuable player in this game with Greg Gumbel. He'll have it right after this.
Welcome back to Wrigley Field in Chicago, everyone, where our final score, the American League over the National League by a score of 2-0. And I am here with Julio Franco of the Texas Rangers, who has been named the Chevrolet Major League Baseball most valuable player of this All-Star game. And in addition to the MVP trophy, Julio will receive a Chevy Astrovan, which will be given to the charity of his choice. Representing Chevrolet in tonight's presentation is Mr. Steve Ramsey, Area Marketing Manager for Chevrolet Motor Division. Mr. Ramsey.
Julio, on behalf of Chevrolet and Major League Baseball, it's a real pleasure to present you with this most valuable trophy. And it also is our pleasure to offer this Astrovan or an S-Blazer to the charity of your choice in your name. Congratulations, Julio.
Thank you. I'll be taking this trophy on behalf of all the players and make this happen, and I'm really glad we won. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Steve, thank you very much. Julio, congratulations to you. That's going to have a special place for you at home?
Well, yes. The guy told me, just go over there and do your best and give us a good game and play for us, represent us, and I think I did real well.
We all sit out 1 hour and 8-minute rain delay, and then you come back and deliver the game-winning hit. Tell us about it.
Well, I went there and saw Ricky and them play a little cards, relax and stretch a little, and when I come back out, I was try to do my business.
You have a guy up against you, too, in Rob Dibble, who throws some serious heat.
Well, he throws hard, and then he got a lot of body motion, but the ball is straight. His ball is straight up.
Yeah, how do you feel about just being here, this overall atmosphere, and how many times have you been in Wrigley Field?
Well, this is my second time Wrigley Field. I was here back in '82 with the Philadelphia Phillies, and now I'm back with the All-Star game, and I'm glad to be here.
You do the Texas Rangers proud, huh?
I'm proud of them.
Yeah, one of the things that was very difficult out here were the playing conditions, too. Did you weather that okay?
Well, the field is kind of wet, and it's hard to run. The air is kind of heavy, but other than that, it's all right.
Okay, Julio Franco, the most valuable player of the 1990 Major League game. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll take a timeout.
CBS Sports coverage of the 61st All-Star.
Once again, the final score of the 61st Major League All-Star game. The American League 2 and the National League nothing. We invite you to join CBS Sports for more coverage of Major League Baseball this Saturday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. You will see either the Kansas City Royals and the Boston Red Sox or the San Diego Padres and the Pittsburgh Pirates.